Hey, what's up, guys? Vickers, how's it going? Jarret Allen, possible because of Mobley to the Cavs? That's definitely a possibility. I think so. Barnes is Giannis or Draymond Magic Johnson. Barnes is nice. I think I wanna let him just evolve. Let him do his own thing, and then we can compare him to other players. CJ for Pascal. I don't like that trade. That trade makes no sense for the Raptors because they already have. Look at their backcourt. They have Fred VanVleet. They have Malachi Flynn. They're going to re-sign Gary Trent Jr. Probably, likely, very likely, and then they're going to sign and trade Kyle Lowry for who knows, maybe Tyler Hero. I don't know. So I don't really like that. I like CJ. Don't get me wrong, but then if we trade Pascal Siakam, what happens to our front court and like who are we going to put? Are we going to put Scotty Barnes right away in our starting lineup? Are we going to start Chris Boucher? Yo, what is up? 86. Siakam for Sabonis. I wouldn't do that. Here's the thing. The reason I don't trade Siakam right now is because the Raptors need some scoring help. So I feel like if you trade him, then who's going to be your main scoring option on the team? What do you think of our draft picks? I like them. You know what? If you see my videos, that's actually a little bit harsh on the second round picks because they're better available players. But I really like the Canadian kid we drafted. He's got a huge frame. He's 6'9". He's got a wingspan of I believe 6'10", 6'11". So he's gonna be nice. Him with Scotty Barnes. The only question marks I was a little worried about. The only thing I was worried about with him was his shooting, much like Scotty Barnes. So I feel like we need a little bit more scoring help. Hopefully, we're able to sign someone in free agency. Gary Trent Jr. will resign. What contracts do you think? I think we're re-signing Gary Trent Jr. for sure. I think Kyle Lowry's a goner. There's never say never, but I think there's a slim possibility of Gary Trent Jr. or excuse me, Kyle Lowry coming back to the Raptors just because there's so many interested teams in him, and we don't know how Lowry's going to want how much. He reportedly want $90 million over 3 years. I'm not a big fan of that personally. I don't want to pay Kyle Lowry that much money just because we have our core tied in together, and then you're going to pay him that much, and then that leaves literally no room for anyone else. Thoughts on Jaylen Brown? I like him. He is one of my favorite players. I always took him in my fantasy draft, and he was a killer, man. The only thing I feel like is he needs more touches on offense. We know the Boston Celtics over the years, they've had Kemba Walker, Gordon Hayward taking touches away. So I thought he had a nice year last year. He played very well. What do you think is Scotty Barnes' potential with the Raptors? I honestly think if we can get his shot developed, I feel like Scotty Barnes would be really nice on the Raptors. He can play defense already. He's good passing and he's got that enormous size with the Raptors. I mean, that's unbelievable, man. That's exciting for Raptors fans. We should be rubbing our hands together. And I called this weeks ago. I don't want to seem like I keep saying I called it, but no, I really like Scotty Barnes. I think he's the perfect Raptors fit. Obviously, there's some questions about Jalen Suggs, but then we heard about that news that came out about Jalen Suggs, and he apparently there's been rumors again, no credible source, but there's been rumors that he purposely screwed up his workout with the Raptors because he didn't want to be here. So, Laurie Barnes for second and KP. I don't know. Kristaps Porzingis. I really like him, but the issue with Kristaps is he's got a huge contract. He's got injury issues. I know I believe he's only 25 years old. So I really do like Kristaps. I think he would be nice with the Raptors. It's just the style that Raptors play is such fast pace. I don't see Kristaps being able to keep up with that. See Baines, Rodney Hood, and Stanley Johnson gone, so there will be some money to spend. Oh yeah, for sure. I think Stanley Johnson's gone, no doubt. Rodney Hood and Aaron Baines, I believe, I could be wrong, but their extension has been pushed back a day or two, so tomorrow or the day after. So if there's any sort of sign and trades with Lowry or other players that maybe we want to, if we want to acquire certain players and we need salary fillers, we can throw in Baines or Hood in there. So I think that's why they pushed it back. I'd trade for Tatum in 2K. I would too. I honestly believe, it's crazy because I'm the biggest Pascal fan out there, but at one time I can't believe you were comparing Tatum and Pascal because I saw that Celtics versus the Nets series. He was in a league of his own. Even Kevin Durant, I know Kevin Durant's got that length and he's not really known for a great defensive flair, but Kevin Durant was having trouble keeping up with Tatum on the defensive end. So how much do you think Gary Trent Jr. will cost us per year? So Gary Trent Jr., there's been reports he'll get 18 to 19 million. I think a fair price for Gary Trent Jr. is somewhere. I know he's not going to take 15 million, but somewhere in the 15 to 18 million range. I mean, not saying if you pay him 18 million that first year, but have him similar to a contract how you did with Fred VanVleet and OG Anunoby. Push that contract a little bit up. Like give him 16.5 million, give him 17.5, 19.5 the third year, and then just do it like that. I trade for take Raptors fans met Scotty Barnes. I saw that video on Instagram. That was insane. If you guys haven't followed me on Instagram, you want to make sure you follow me on Instagram. I love that video. He's just totally with the fans and he's enjoying that. I love that. Hey man, how you doing? 86. I love you, man. I'm good. How are you doing? Sandeep's asking, you think we might be able to get Precious Ichiwa? Oh yeah. Here's the thing about Miami Heat, guys. So there's been rumors. I'm going to keep my phone on just in case more rumors come on about the Raptors. And we know free agency is starting at tomorrow. Here's the thing, and they actually have it listed here. So Miami Heat, after accepting that Goran Dragic team option, they have only $20.4 million contract, salary left. So they're not paying Kyle Lowry all of that money, and then they're only signing minimum contracts. So I think the Raptors have a really good opportunity here to possibly get really greedy with the Miami Heat because they don't have the cap space to sign someone like a Kyle Lowry right off, especially after accepting that Goran Dragic. Oh, Kawhi declined? What? You gotta be kidding. Holy crap. Let the rumors start about Kawhi Leonard. I'm trying to find this. Chris Paul to be a free agent. Wow, 17 minutes ago. Holy crap. Kawhi Leonard. That's insane. I'm going to get back to you in just a second. I'm going to finish off what I was talking about there. So here's the thing with Miami Heat. They have 20.4 million, I believe. What was it? Something like that. Let me go back and check here. Yeah, so they have 20.4 million left in salary they can pay free agents. They're not giving all of that to Kyle Lowry. So we know Kyle Lowry wants 25 to 30 million for several years. The Raptors can hold the Miami Heat hostage. They're going to be like, hey, we don't have to do this for you unless you give us a really good price. So if they say we're not giving up Hero or Precious Achiuwa, the Raptors could be like, hey, we're not helping you get Kyle Lowry. We're finished. We're not talking to you guys unless you give us what we want, because we know the Pelicans have cleared cap space after that Bledsoe and Adams trade. We know Dallas Mavericks yesterday, I believe, they traded Josh Richardson to the Boston Celtics. So they have plenty of space now. Both of those teams here, let me check here, guys. I want to get the exact numbers. So Mavericks have 33.5 million. That is way over how much they can pay Kyle Lowry. They can pay Kyle Lowry 27 million, and there's been rumors maybe DeMar DeRozan goes there as well. And there's also been some rumors about the Heat wanting DeMar DeRozan as back. They want Kyle Lowry and that reunion to happen. So, all right, guys, let's get to some other questions here. So let's see. Jarret Allen. Sorry, guys, I'm just scrolling up. There's quite a bit of questions here. I hope so. Precious Achiuwa, I really want him. If I'm the Raptors in trading, that's one player I definitely want to include. Can the Raptors sign Lonzo Ball or Mike Conley to replace Lowry? Mike Conley, here's the thing. He's injury prone. He's what, 34, 35 too? So the thing with Mike Conley is I really like him. I really do like him, but I don't know how he fits with the Raptors. That video came up about Malachi Flynn where he scored like 30-somewhat points, 12 assists in the league. I don't know where he was playing, but I feel like we should give Malachi Flynn the opportunity to go just because I feel like he's ready to be the backup point guard. So personally, I would love Lonzo Ball. I really like him too, but in terms of the fit with the Raptors, I don't know how that works out. Like, do you get rid of Gary Trent Jr.? Like, what do you do with Gary Trent Jr.? Do you place him on the bench? Personally, I wouldn't want to be paying Gary Trent Jr. that much money just to have him on the bench. So unfortunately, that's why I don't see the Raptors going after Lonzo Ball. And also there's rumors that came out this morning that Lonzo Ball apparently is really interested in signing with the Bulls and vice versa. They're really interested in signing in with him. Let's see here. Cade Cunningham scores like Tatum, less passive Luka Doncic. I agree. He's going to be special, guys. He's going to be really nice. He's not as good as OG. Who's not as good as OG? Jarret Allen, how much would you give him? Here's the thing. Jarret Allen is a restricted free agent. If we sign him to somewhere like, let's say 18, 20 million, I think Cleveland Cavaliers easily accept that. Unfortunately, I wouldn't pay Jarret Allen 25 million. I don't know how desperate the Raptors are to pay or get Jarret Allen. They might just go in the 21 to 23 million range. We'll have to wait and see what they can get done. So Man Simran is asking, do you think the Raptors will keep Dragic or trade him for assets? It depends. If we end up getting Dragic, I think he's a really nice piece. He can be that veteran player that can come off the bench. He can score as well. I've been watching Miami Heat a lot since the bubble. He's amazing off the bench, man. He's very clutch too. He can hit those big shots late in the fourth quarter. He can be a bucket getter. So I really like him, but I don't think the Raptors will pay him that much money we know they have to spend on Gary Trent Jr. and also acquire a center as well. So if the Raptors do get him back in a Miami Heat trade, I definitely see them flipping him for more assets. I really want to meet Scotty. Me too, man. The guy has so much energy. How can you not like this guy? Like, he's just full of energy. You want to meet this guy, and you're pumped up, man. You're excited to see how much he's embraced Toronto, and I like him, man. I really like him. Let's see here. He turned down our 15 million qualifying offer. Is that so, Joe Doe? Is that Gary Trent Jr. you're talking about? Gary Trent Jr. Unless we have to match high, just match OG. Do you think so? You have no beef between. I don't think they'll have beef. They seem like they're already really good friends. I think Gary Trent Jr. He really likes Toronto too, and he could potentially be a starting shooting guard. So I think he may just take a little bit less. It depends. Lowry for Iggy, Precious, Okapala. Iggy's gone. He's the Miami Heat declined his options, but Precious, Achiuwa, Okapala. I haven't looked into him, but I know he's a really young, energetic player. Kawhi declined. I've been trying to get to you, Kevin. Man, that's huge news. Where do you guys go? Because it's a dream scenario. But if the Raptors do something crazy, they're able to get Kawhi Leonard. That'd be something, man. But you obviously need to acquire like another star player or something, because that would be insane if the Raptors do get him. Do you think the Raptors, or sorry, I've read that question already. You think he'll come back to Toronto? Kevin, are you asking about Kawhi? Because I would love for him, but I don't see him coming back to Toronto. Kawhi to the Knicks, possibly. If Chris Paul goes there and Kawhi goes there too, that would be a nice pair up. They have Randall and RJ Barrett as well. I could see that happening. And Kawhi, 2K Kawhi goes to the Pistons. I don't see that happening, unfortunately. Kilo will, because he can resign from 34 to 39 million. So Kawhi Leonard, there's some rumors the Dallas Mavericks really want him. So maybe he goes there and then we sign and trade Lowry for someone on the Mavericks, but I don't know who the Mavericks have in terms of what we'd acquire in a sign and trade. Lowry for Jackson Hayes. I would love Jackson Hayes. Unfortunately, he just got in trouble with the law enforcement. I believe he was fighting someone or he beat up someone. So I don't know if the Raptors want him. I wish I could turn down 14 million. Me too, Eric. Me too. You're not the only one. DeMar back to Toronto. I would love him. I don't think he'll come back though. He did an interview recently. Unless Masai Ujiri leaves, I don't see DeMar coming back. I think he wants to contend. He's talked about that. There's been rumors about him going to Lakers and Mavericks as well. So should the Raptors offer Gary Trent Jr. for? Where'd that go? Sorry, guys. The questions are popping up. Should the Raptors offer Gary Trent Jr. for Jarret Allen? I personally wouldn't. I really like Jarret Allen. I wouldn't. I could actually see them doing that though. Jackson Hayes, yeah, he's out of the league. He literally insulted. Yeah, that's what it was. Mohammed, thank you for that. Yeah, he insulted an officer, so the Raptors aren't acquiring him. Lowry sign and trade. I like Lowry Markkinen, but now we drafted Scotty Barnes. Like, where are we going to play Lowry Markkinen? I really like him. I feel like he could be a stretch power forward with us at times. He could be a center for us if we need to. His defense isn't the great. He's injury prone, though. That's the issue with Lowry. Jaylen Green, Bradley Beal, more offense, less defense. Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Green is nice. I don't know player comparisons. I wouldn't compare him, but he's a bucket getter. He's a little bit underweight. I think he's like 177 pounds. He's like 6'6" or something like that. So he needs to get a little bit stronger. Barnes thugs. I really like Barnes. Let's see here. Lonzo for Kilo and then trade Fred VanVleet to a team with cap space for 2 firsts. I don't know if they do that though. The thing is, if you re-sign Kyle Lowry, he's had injury issues. And I feel like we should really give Fred VanVleet a chance to be the main point guard. We've seen him play with Kyle Lowry beside each other. I think we should let Fred run with the team for a year and then take it on from there. Ben Simmons or Siakam. I say Siakam. Absolutely. Aiden, I say Siakam as well. Flynn playing at the crossover Pro AM. I saw that. He was killing it. How well do you think the Raptors will do next season? All depends on health, man. All depends on health. Hopefully the COVID is gone next season. They were 4th or 5th when didn't even have a center before those COVID protocol hit. So I think maybe depends on what other moves the teams make. I could see them top 4 for sure, unless injuries happen. Maybe fall to 5th if another team gets a lot better, but we'll have to wait and see. Flynn has gained 5-10 pounds of muscle. That's not surprising. He looked really good in his video there. 76ers get Lowry, Raptors get Hayward, Hornets get George Hill and Danny Green and 4 first. Who's going to give up the 4 first though? I definitely don't want the Raptors to give up any first round picks. All right, let's see here. You don't know who he is. Was making a joke. Scotty Barnes Raptors workout was like with Jordan entrance and Space Jam. What's good, guys? Hey, what's up, man? Akatsuki Given. I think that's how you say your name. How well do you think the Raptors will do? I got to that one. Victor, I just answered that. Rains off. How's it going, man? How much cap space do the Raptors got if they trade Dragic? So right now the Raptors have, I believe, around $30 million. Let me have a look. The Raptors have the sixth most cap space. It's listed at $22 million, $22.1 million, but that's also because the Raptors have yet to waive Aaron Baines and Rodney Hood. So their contract combined is about $17 million. So that's going to give them, my math is horrible. Sorry, guys. Around 37. I don't think that's the case because we did add a first round pick. So I don't know if that's included as well. Before I checked, it was about $34 million with Baines and Hood gone. Let's see here. Raptors 7 seed upset 76ers, lose to Nets in 6. That's a possibility. Depends on where the 76ers finish. I feel like they're a really bad we're a really bad matchup for 76ers because we know how to play Joel Embiid really well. So they wouldn't like us. Kawhi and DeRozan to Toronto, that would be a dream scenario. That involved getting rid of Gary Trent Jr. for sure. And then I don't know where we're gonna play OG Anunoby. So will the Raptors' success depend on the growth of guys like, oh, yeah, absolutely. I think Pascal Siakam, it sucks he's had the injury, but him and Fred, I've seen Fred shooting those logo threes, so hopefully he has a big season. He's going to dominate. Let's see. I'm losing the comments here. Sorry, guys. He's going to dominate Prison's ball with Jarvis. Sorry, Kevin, I don't know what you're talking about. 86, is that your first stream? Yeah, it's my very first stream, guys. I wanted to drop some videos today, but there's just been so much news going on with the Raptors. They're interested in Nerlens Noel's, which we've heard several times. The Cleveland Cavaliers believe the Raptors are the most likely team to pry Jarret Allen away. So keep an eye on that. There's been rumors about Rashawn Holmes. There's rumors yesterday about Zach Collins. Sorry, not Jack. Zach Collins. He's had a foot injury, though. I don't know how much I want him. Let's see. Would you ask the Heat for Precious Achiuwa or Tyler Hero? That's really tough. Here's what I'm seeing from Tyler Hero. Tyler Hero is obviously the better player, but he seems like one of those players, like a Kyle Kuzma type of player, where he's gotten from his rookie year to this, he's caught up this quickly, but then he's just plateaued there and he doesn't seem to be going up. There's been some stuff about him like messing around with IG models and stuff like that. So I don't know, man. I personally would like Precious Achiuwa just because we do need like centers. Beal for Siakam. I would love that. But then the only issue is, like, what do you do? Like Fred VanVleet, Gary Trent Jr., like who's going to be our power forward? I don't think the Washington Wizards do that. The only issue is Beal's only got one more year left on his contract, so he could walk at the end of next season. Kawhi, 10 years in the NBA, his max goes up from 34 to 39 million, so he wants a long-term contract. Fill gaps. Yes, that could definitely be a possibility. Maybe that's why he declined his option. If we did a sign and trade for Lonzo, would we still have enough cap space to sign a center like Nerlens Noel or Jarret Allen? Here's the thing. So Jarret Allen is restricted free agent. We'd very likely have to give the Cleveland Cavaliers something back to match salaries, or that is why I believe they haven't declined options of Baines or Hood, maybe throwing a first round pick. I don't know. It depends, but Nerlens Noel, I think we can get him somewhere in the 7 to 10 million range, unless silly teams like, let's say, a Hornet throw a lot of money at him. I don't see that. Wizards would never raise the yes. How much do you think we need to offer Jarret Allen to take him away from the Cavs? I genuinely don't want to give Jarret Allen this much money. I believe it's going to be somewhere around this 25 million mark. I think the Cleveland Cavaliers are not letting him go. They're not going to let him go easy. I've ordered my championship flag, and sorry guys, I'm losing the comments here. It just scrolls up by itself. I've ordered my championship flag and ring replica on Amazon. 86, man. I want the ring. It looks really nice. I'm going to be doing a prize giveaway, so keep in tune. I'm just been trying to keep up with all the draft news, and there's been insane amount of news with the Raptors the last 3 weeks, it seems like. I've been meaning to give away for the 1,000 subscribers I've hit. So I'm going to be giving a few prizes away, so make sure to keep up with that. Raptors don't need picks. They always seem to sign hidden gems in the NBA, undrafted. I agree, Kevin. Scotty Barnes has TikTok. No way. I'm not surprised. Percentage-wise, hopefully, likely you think Jarret Allen would sign an offer sheet with the Raptors? I think so. If they pay him a good amount of money, I could definitely see him. Magic can use Hood's contract in a trade. That is why, yeah, he pushed it a day back. Hood said he is parting way with the Raptors. Some people be like, hey, where did you hear that? Is that on Twitter? Renos is asking, what the F would we give for Jarret Allen? That's tough. Someone's mentioned Gary Trent Jr. I could see that happening possibility, but we know the Cleveland Cavaliers want to get rid of Colin Sexton, so maybe they trade him for a center and then we trade Gary Trent Jr. But I personally am really high on Gary Trent Jr. I'm not trading him unless we get someone like a Karl Anthony Towns back. I know that's not going to happen. We'd have to include more picks, but I don't want to give up Gary Trent Jr. easily, or at least for a better center. So who will get Jarret Allen, Raptors or Hornets? So I think the Raptors might. I have to check how much cap space do the Hornets have. I don't know if they have a lot of cap space. Oh, the Hornets have about 16.18 million. They're not gonna, unless it's a sign and trade. I don't see them. I don't see the Hornets acquiring him. Let's see here. Fred VanVleet needs to float in the lane. I agree, man. Here's the thing though, guys. With a lot of short point guards, even someone like a Kemba Walker, these guys are, the field goal percentage isn't that great when they're shooting from the excuse me, I can't talk. They're not, when their field goal percentages aren't great for most point guards. When you look at it, they're in the low 40s range. Even Kemba Walker was like 42, and he's pretty good. But I do agree that he does need a floater. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing this. Sage, love seeing Punjabi representation in the space. Keep it up. Love the content. I appreciate your support, man. Thank you. Shout out for repping us. Oh, shout out for repping us. Matthew, I think that's what it means. Thank you. Zach Collins is too fragile. I agree. He's just had a foot injury, and he just came back from a foot injury where he missed the entire season. So if the Raptors do sign him, I don't know. We're going to have to rehab him and then wait till likely the end of the season to play him, or probably next season. I don't know. I really like Zach Collins. He's a young, nice player who can shoot threes, but I don't know. His injuries are just too much to deal with at the moment. Hayes going to prison. Jarvis Quinton is in prison. So what I was saying was he's going to dominate prison ball. Is Hayes actually going to prison, Kevin? Like I know he's been like arrested, hasn't he? But like, is he actually going to prison? That's insane. Where's Sam Bhullar playing? I don't know, man. I was big on Sam Bhullar. I remember when he got he was coming into the NBA, and obviously, being an Indian person myself, that was great to see. I was like, whoa, that's going to be one of like the first Indian players, I believe, in the NBA. So I love Brandon Ingram. Is there a chance to get him? Here's the thing. If we trade for Brandon Ingram, we're very likely to having to give up Pascal and probably more. But I really like Ingram. He's an amazing scorer. He's still only, I think, 23, 24. So I would love Brandon Ingram. I don't see the Pelicans giving him up easily, though. I'm hoping the Raptors obtain Jarret Allen. We need a good center. Adam, I absolutely agree, man. It's like, here's the thing. People keep saying, I don't want to pay Jarret Allen because he can't shoot threes. But, like, look at the free agent class for this year and look at the centers. Like, how many of them can shoot threes? We tried that whole experiment. Aaron Baines was shooting threes. But then the way our offenses run, here's the issue, guys. Even if we do get a big man who can shoot threes, our offense does not run through our big man. It usually runs through our guards or Pascal Siakam. And then occasionally OG Anunoby gets touches as well, depending on how aggressive he wants to be during the game. But even if we get a stretch big, he's maximum going to be shooting 2 threes. It's just nice having that stretch big because it opens up the lanes for guys like Pascal and Fred VanVleet as well. So I think that is why they want to stretch big. But I really like Jarret Allen. I think the Raptors should acquire him as well. Will we realistically get a center via trade? Because otherwise we will be overspending in free agency, says Monroe. I absolutely agree. Here's the thing with free agent. Let me pull up the centers for this year's free agency. It's not great. The Pelicans, or excuse me, not Pelicans. Serge Ibaka went back to the Clippers. So, like, I mean, not that we were gonna get him, but free agents. Like I know there's Cody Zeller, guys, and we're not signing Cody Zeller. I don't want to pay centers. I don't want to get another so center only to go through the same thing we did last year. And yes, we had COVID injuries, but like Rashawn Holmes is nice. Daniel Tice would be nice on the Raptors. There's Cody Zeller, Robin Lopez, Daniel Tice, Nerlens Noel, Ed Davis, former Raptor, Enes Kanter, Rashawn Holmes, Frank Kaminsky. No, JaVale McGee, I feel like would be a really nice player for the Raptors if we could have him as a backup role, just have him for certain matchups. So I feel like he would be nice. Zach Collins again, Boban, he's a funny guy. I don't know if I want him though. Bismack, Dwight Howard, Jarret Allen, Hassan Whiteside, Luke Cornett, Tony Bradley, Willie Hernan Gomez, Alex Len. Hope that's not happening. Harry Giles is another player I would really like the Raptors to get. He's nice. He can shoot threes. I saw some of his highlights. He looked really good with Portland Trailblazers. whatever reason, he's not getting minutes. Gorgie Jang, I remember him. He went and signed with the Spurs when we had a chance to sign him. He didn't want to be with the Raptors, no way. Andre Drummond, not happening. Dwayne Dedman. I actually suggested this several months ago, like 5 months ago. I made a video about centers the Raptors could sign. They didn't want him for whatever reason. Demarcus Cousins isn't happening. Jordan Bell, I believe he's an undersized center. Like Taco Fall, like there's literally no one else. I don't know. So the center class is really weak for the Raptors. I don't see them. I personally don't see the Raptors trying and signing any of these guys. They're no names. I mean, no disrespect to these guys, but they don't help the Raptors in any way. Let's see here. Would you trade Kyle Lowry and Pascal for Brandon Ingram and Lonzo? That's tough. You know what? I actually would do that. I think Brandon Ingram is solid in terms of his offense. The only issue is he's not a good defensive player. So you lose a lot of defense in Pascal Siakam. And I don't think a lot of fans realize this. Watch some of the clips of some guys that have broken down how the Raptors play defense and that huge wingspan that Pascal Siakam has. He's a huge part of our defense, guys. Let's see here. Sorry, guys. I'm catching up. What's your favorite realistic scenario for getting a center in this offseason? Jarret Allen, Holmes, Noels. I'm really hoping. I gotta check how much cap space Cleveland Cavaliers have, because I don't believe they have a lot of cap space. So they have to essentially match Jarret Allen's contract, because if they don't, they're not going to sign a really good center. So yeah, it's the Cleveland Cavaliers don't have a lot of cap space. And I definitely see them, unfortunately, matching Jarret Allen unless we overpay like $25 million or something crazy like that. I would really like Jarret Allen. Out of all of them, Holmes is nice, but the thing is, we can get a cheaper version of Holmes in Khem Birch. When you look at their stats, they're really identical. I broke this down actually in a video where Holmes is only hitting a better field goal percentage and free throws. Free throws are huge, though. So that's the thing. But Holmes is also asking for the 18 to 20 million range. So I don't know if I want to pay him that much. You can just sign Khem Birch for cheaper and then bring him back. You know what? So why not? Nerlens Noel, I really like him. I didn't realize he's 6'11". I thought he's the same size as Chris Boucher. The only issue with Nerlens Noel, here's the thing, guys. We have Scotty Barnes, right? He can't shoot threes. He can't shoot. Then we signed someone like Nerlens Noel. He can't shoot at all. Like his the same thing with Scotty Barnes. He's only getting layups at the basket. So Nerlens Noel is a little bit underweight too. He's 6'11", 220 pounds, which is a similar issue we have with Chris Boucher. So Chris Boucher does essentially the same thing that Nerlens Noel does. I believe Nerlens Noel is a better rebounder and a better defensive player. But in terms of blocking shots, his frame is very similar to Chris Boucher. So I don't know. It makes sense to acquire Nerlens Noel only for getting rid of Chris Boucher. Free agency starts tomorrow, right? Some people will be like, yes, it starts at 3 p.m. Pacific. I'm on the West Coast here, so it's going to be 6 Eastern for you guys if you're on the East Coast. Do you think the Warriors will still pursue Shakai? I'm assuming you're asking Pascal or Siakam. I don't think so. I don't think the Warriors will, because if they wanted, they would have already asked about Pascal. We know they had those 2 draft picks in the NBA draft. So let's see. Reno says, if Lowry doesn't sign today or tomorrow, there's no signing rights. There's no sign and trade, right? No, that's a possibility, because there could still be discussions going on with several teams. There's several teams. I know the Lakers were in it. They're not in it anymore, but the Clippers are rumored, the Dallas Mavericks, the Pelicans, Miami Heat, Philadelphia 76ers. So that's five teams that the Raptors could potentially sign and trade Kyle Lowry to. The Knicks can outright just sign him. They have like something crazy, like $65 million. Let me check here, guys. And they have something else. I've broken down salary cap situation for the Raptors, but yeah, the Knicks have $52.6 million in cap space. They can outright sign DeMar and Kyle and maybe reunite there. Siakam, should the Raptors sign Kelly Olynyk? I really like Kelly Olynyk. Here's the issue, though. I had him in my fantasy team. He's putting up some really nice stats, but that was also with a bottom feeder team. Is he going to be putting up the same stats, or is he going to be doing similar things if he's on the Raptors? And he's not a great defensive player, so that is another thing we have to keep in mind. And I could be wrong on this one. I'm going to quickly look up Kelly Olynyk. I believe he's 6'10", 6'11". So I don't know. He'd be nice. He'd be nice on a cheap contract, but let's see here. Kelly Olynyk. How tall is he? Yeah, 6'11", 245 pounds. He's got a good size, though. I feel like if we could get him for cheap, that would be nice. No Dwight Powell. No, the 86, that's not happening. Center is Holmes or fill gaps. I think he meant Senator Holmes off Olynyk Holmes. But the thing with Holmes is, like I said, he's going to be asking for like $20 million. I don't know if I want that much. Let's see here. Sorry, guys. There's a lot of questions I'm trying to catch up. This is my very first stream. So if you guys are new here, make sure to hit the subscribe button. That'd be amazing. Let's see. Raptors, no Dwight Powell. Gone over that. Miles Turner, Karis LeVert, and Warren for Pascal and Boucher. That's a tricky situation. Like I said, here's the issue with trading Pascal Siakam. There's been some rumors. I don't know how much truth there is to that. But if you're trading Pascal Siakam, he's our leading scorer for a team that already struggles to shoot and score. So who replaces this offense? Because we know Fred VanVleet, he's a high volume shooter, but his percentages isn't the greatest. We have yet to see Gary Trent Jr. one full season as a starter. So there's question marks. OG Anunoby, as great as he is and as much potential as he has, do you really trust OG to be the number one or number two options? He's been doing great with the Raptors, but defenses haven't focused in on OG. OG Anunoby, think of this. He's doing the same thing that Pascal was doing when Kawhi was here, which is taking advantage of not being the first option, and he was kind of the unknown. So if the Raptors do trade Pascal Siakam, like Karis LeVert could be our first option, but where are we placing Karis LeVert? We have Fred VanVleet, OG, Gary Trent Jr. Like, I feel like Gary Trent Jr. would be, not that I would want to trade him, but if you are to trade someone for like a center, I feel like Gary Trent Jr. is the most realistic option in terms of sign and trade. So let's see. I would like for the Raptors to get that. The only issue, again, Miles Turner, Karis LeVert, Warren is quite a nice trade for Pascal and Boucher, but I don't know about that. I don't think we should go for Knowles or Holmes. I think we should re-sign Khem Birch. Some people be like, I agree. Khem Birch is really nice. We should give him a full season. He's not going to be expensive. That's the thing with Khem Birch. Who would you like the Raptors to obtain most, and who are you most willing to lose on the Raptors? I think, unfortunately, I love Kyle Lowry. I've been watching the Raptors since 2004, and I saw when Kyle Lowry first got here, but I just don't see the Raptors re-signing Kyle Lowry. He wants to go to a winner, so unfortunately, I do see the Raptors losing out on Kyle Lowry in a sign-and trade or sending him to another team, not losing out, but obtain Jarret Allen. I really like him. He's one of the sexiest free agents on the market. I would really like the Raptors to sign Jarret Allen. He would be nice. If the Raptors somehow manage to get him at a decent price, that's going to be the challenging part. Hoping that Cleveland Cavaliers don't match, or what do we give back for Jarret Allen is the tricky part. So him, and obviously if we could, we're likely to re-sign Gary Trent Jr. We can target Richaun Holmes. And Richaun Holmes is nice. The only thing, Mr. Bro, is that he's going to be asking for $18 to $20 million. And do you really want to pay Richaun Holmes? I mentioned this earlier. So Khem Birch brings very similar statistics in terms of what he brings. They both can't shoot. The only thing Richaun Holmes does better than Khem Birch is he puts up more points. His field goal and free throw percentage is higher. So I don't know. I feel like we should bring Khem Birch back, who brings similar things, and we'll get him for way cheaper. Kevin Lana is asking Marvin Bagley. I really like him. He's 22 years old or something like that. He's had injury issues. I'd really like him if the Raptors could get him for cheap, though. That's the thing. I wouldn't have him starting. That's the only thing with Marvin Bagley. Khem Birch backup. Yes, on JaVale for matchups. JaVale McGee, I'd like him for certain matchups. He's a really good defensive player. Yes, his IQ, we've all seen him on, Shaqting the Fool, but in terms of his defense, rebounding, he's that 7-foot center who can block shots. He needs to get out of sack down. I agree. You know what? Everyone needs to get out of sack down. Let's not kid ourselves, guys. I mean, De'Aaron Fox has been killing it, but what are the Sacramento Kings doing? And that's not to disrespect them, but 86 is saying Bagley would be amazing. I like him. I feel like the Raptors could really develop him nicely. Tony Bradley, under the radar signing, smooth brown man. I agree. I was keeping up with some of his stats when Joel Embiid was out before he got traded at the NBA trade deadline. I got to look him up. Tony Bradley, is he a 7-foot center? He was unreal, man. He's a young player who the Raptors could bring in and develop him. He's really underrated. He's super young too. So I feel like that's a really good name there, actually. I would really love the Raptors to get Tony Bradley on a cheap deal. Let's see here. So Tony Bradley, 6'10", 245 pounds, 23 years old. Let's see. What did he put up? I know he got traded to OKC. 8.6 points, 6.1 rebounds, nearly a block a game. And how many minutes? 18 minutes he was doing this. His field goal percentage is insane, 65.6%. He doesn't shoot the three, though. So I would love for the Raptors to get him. This is what my sources are saying. Dallas gets Dragic. Oh, I'm going to look up. Is that a done deal, or is that, or your sources are saying? Okay, so I'm guessing there's been rumors about Memphis. So far, guys, just to keep up with the latest NBA news, Memphis have declined. Obviously, Justice Winslow's 13 million team option. Chris Paul to be a free agent. Someone already said Kawhi Leonard, if you guys are watching now, just got in. Kawhi Leonard's going to be a free agent. He declined his team option, so that's huge. Malik Monk, I don't know enough about him. Hornets do not extend qualifying offer to guard, making him free agent. Miami Heat are viewed as favorites to land Kyle Lowry. Also, some more news. Mavs pick up Cauley Stein's option. Heat are interested in Kelly Oubre as well. Oh, wow. Zach Collins to be a free agent. That was someone we talked about earlier. Zach Collins was someone rumored yesterday. The Raptors want to sign, but I don't know about that. He's had a foot injury. Sup, I'm watching you from Portugal. Thomas, what's up, man? Thank you. That's really cool. You're watching me all the way from there. That's amazing. Heat get Lowry. That's not a done deal, right? No, that's definitely not a done deal. Airmate, I'm okay. Have a great stream. Thank you. 86, I appreciate it, man. Thank you for being here. Raptors get trade deception pick and prospects for Kai. I'm guessing you're talking about Kyle Lowry. That would be nice. The thing with Kyle Lowry is you don't want to acquire too much salary back because you don't want to, like, Dragic would be nice. I talked about him, but do you really want to acquire a bunch of salary back unless you're sure you could flip them? I agree. I think the Raptors should definitely get picks and prospects. And if the chance arises to get a superstar player, a really good player, you get those assets and, you can flip them. So I want to see to sign a player overseas like Spain or that Jewish ball team. What Jewish ball team? I would like international prospects. I feel like there's really underrated players overseas. Nerlens Noel has an attitude problems. I remember when Nerlens Noel was getting drafted, he was projected to be the first overall pick. I believe it's the same draft as Anthony Bennett. And you guys watched the reaction on YouTube. This guy had that ego because a lot of teams were passing on him because he had an ACL. I can't remember the specific injury. He had a huge injury. And the faces he was making was like, oh, wow, these teams are passing up on me. And I believe he even said something like that. He said something similar to what Jalen Suggs said, that all these teams that passed up on me are going to regret it. So Nerlens Noel, I could see him having an attitude problem. In your opinion, you think the Heat land Lowry? It depends. If they're being cheap like they did at the NBA trade deadline and not offering Masai Ujiri or Bobby Webster, if Masai Ujiri is not here, Masai Ujiri has no obligation to trade Lowry to the Miami Heat. Here's the thing. As I mentioned, for some of you guys joined me after, but I mentioned this at the beginning of the stream. Lowry is asking for 25-30 million. Miami Heat have about 19 or so million, 20 million in cap space. So they're not going to outright sign Kyle Lowry. So if they're not giving us pieces, we could trade him to Dallas. Actually, Dallas could outright sign him too. But if Kyle Lowry decides to be nice to the Raptors and we get something back in a sign-in trade, I could see Dallas, New Orleans, Pelicans as well. They can outright sign him, but there's several other teams besides Miami. But I think the deal is going to get done between the Raptors and Miami. Katsuki GVN. I'm sorry, man. I keep butchering your name. I wouldn't mind Nerlens Noel. In your opinion, yes, the Heat, I don't believe they will sign a center in free agent. They will target one and trade. Probably someone approaching free agency in a year or two, says Michael. I agree. I feel like the Raptors could really pull that off. This year's free agency in terms of centers isn't great. I went over it. I mean, like, who's the most recognizable name there in free agency besides Jarret Allen is Andre Drummond or someone else. So I don't know. I definitely think that's a possibility. We can trade Chris Boucher, Malachi Flynn, and a first for Jarret Allen. I don't know. That's quite a bit. Mr. Bro. I personally wouldn't. I would give up a future first-round pick, a heavily protected future first-round pick, but I don't know if I'd trade Malachi Flynn. I would definitely do Chris Boucher. The thing with Malachi Flynn, I was really high on him, and I covered him in my very first YouTube video, which I posted if you guys want to check that out. But I'm really high on Malachi Flynn. I think he could be something special in this league. I'm not saying all-star or star player, but I can see him being I think his ceiling is higher than what Fred VanVleet is right now. So that tells you how good I think Malachi Flynn could be at the NBA level. How much do we pay Allen? $100 million. That's a lot. That's a lot because if we sign him to a max deal, that's 5 years, $25 million. That's quite a bit, Mr. Bro. But I think we may just need to pay around that range because Cleveland Cavaliers can match anything. So, and I don't think they let him go easy. I think Marvin Bagley will be available, but not sure about his injury. Bagley will need to develop more defensively, but Raptors could do it. Josh Hamilton, I absolutely agree. I think Marvin Bagley would be nice. Again, his injury issues suck, but hey, it is what it is. Do you think Lowry would be open to a sign and trade? Absolutely. Aaron, I think he would be. The Raptors have done so much for him, and I think he'd definitely be doing a Raptors a favor if we could sign him, trade him. I don't think he walks for nothing. Lowry sign and trade for Precious, Dragic, and Dragic goes to Dallas, says Herb off the Serb. Herb off the Serb. Who do you think we get from Dallas, though? Here's the thing. Like, do we get Powell? Like, who do you get from the Canadian kid? I forget his first name. He can play the center position. I watched the Clippers in the Maverick series. I really liked him. I think he could be a very versatile defender. But Who do you bring from Dallas if you're trading Dragic to the Dallas Mavericks? Possibly a sign and trade with Achiuwa and Lowry. That's Mr. Bro. I agree. I want Achiuwa in a sign and trade and probably a future first and maybe more. Fans in general, people are speculating Jaylen Suggs purposely failed his workout, says Ashron Anna. Ashron, I agree. I actually posted this thing on Facebook. I don't know if you guys are in a group. I'll try to post that on Instagram. For those who haven't followed me on Instagram, I've posted the story again. But if you guys want to shoot me a message or I can send it to you, make sure to hit me up on Instagram. It's called the Warriors Report, of course. Sorry, it's just they changed the names up. So Instagram, if you guys want to follow me, I'm the Warriors Report. I'll show you guys that report. Someone reportedly within the Raptors, I don't know if it was a scout, if it was someone, they said Jaylen Suggs did so bad. He almost had a breakdown, or he was getting really mad in his first workout with the Raptors because he was not hitting any shots. Now, there's rumors about that. I don't know if he purposely did that. So the Raptors actually ended the workout early with Jaylen Suggs. They brought him in the next day, and he struggled again. So I don't know if he did that on purpose. There's rumors he doesn't want to be in Toronto. It would suck because, you know what, it is what it is. But if he doesn't want to be in Toronto, that's, you know what, so be it. And that's a loss for him. The Raptors are a great community. You got a great team. You've got a great developmental system. So how about Siakam for Bagley and Hield? I personally wouldn't do that. Here's the thing. Bagley, I feel like you could get for cheap. And Buddy Hield, they're actually trying to get rid of. They've been trying to trade him for a year, I believe now. Before they had Bogdanovich, who went to Atlanta Hawks, they started him out of nowhere over Buddy Hield. So Buddy Hield was not happy about that, and they've been trying to get rid of him since, and he's got a huge contract. Personally, I would want more. I'd want a lot more for Siakam. I think the Raptors could easily extract more. I don't think I would do that deal. John Hamilton asked, Christian would be great, but not sure about his defense. I would like Kelly Olynyk and Birch as a backup. I agree. I really like Christian Wood too. I do. But here's the thing. He's underweight to be a center. So we already have Pascal Siakam. So unless you're trading away Pascal Siakam, then it makes sense to bring Christian Wood here. But he's a really nice player. I like him. I was still shocked that the Detroit Pistons didn't re-sign him last season. Kelly Olynyk and Birch, I agree. They'd be really nice as backups. I really like that too. Who says no? Dragic, Achiuwa for Lowry, says pray. I really like that. I think Achiuwa would be nice. The only issue is with Dragic. As I mentioned, if you keep him, he's a really nice bench piece. So do you flip him because your salary cap situation, you're going to re-sign Gary Trent Jr., you're trying to acquire a center. So unless you're sure you can acquire a center for Dragic, then I would totally do that deal. Centers wanted $20 million last year, but went for MLE. That's a very good point. Phil Gaps. I remember that. I was so shocked Serge Ibaka signed for so little, and we were at that time, everyone was hyped about Aaron Baines because of the season he had with the Suns. And a lot of people were saying, they're like, oh, we got a really good deal with Aaron Baines for $7 million. So I remember that deal. I mean, I obviously didn't work out, but you know what? That's definitely a possibility. We can definitely get him for cheaper, especially with the way the NBA is trending. It's trending away from centers. And I don't see how the Raptors can't do that. The Raptors have smart management. So I could definitely see them getting centers for a lot cheaper. Do you think the Raptors are still interested in SGA from OKC? Absolutely. I don't think OKC is trading him though, unless you're giving up like a tremendous amount of package for and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And there's rumors that apparently he's going to re-sign with the Oklahoma City Thunder. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with him. I wanted SGA, but once I saw SGA +6 offered for pick 1 and 2, yeah, I don't. Again, says Rains off. I don't see the Oklahoma City Thunder is not trading SGA for nothing. It's going to be quite a big package we're going to have to give up. Hello, Heat fan here. Give us Lowry and we'll give you Precious along with another asset. Deal. Ask El Sabido. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. Listen, here's the thing, El Sabido. We're both biased fans. No matter how much we admit it, us Raptors fans, you guys as Miami Heat fans are really biased. So we both want what's best for our team. But the issue is we've got two really smart executive managers, general managers, and Pat Riley and Masai Ujiri. You know this is going to be a back and forth battle. So I don't know if that deal alone gets it done, because I was mentioning this to other people. The Miami Heat only have about $19 million or so in cap space. So the Raptors don't have to do Miami Heat any favors. And we know Kyle Lowry's been rumored to want $25 to $30 million. So I think the Raptors are going to get greedy. We know Masai Ujiri is greedy. He's going to ask for way more. Chad is asking, grab Jarret Allen, get something for Lowry. Absolutely. That'd be a dream scenario if we're able to somehow get Jarret Allen without giving up too much to the Cleveland Cavaliers, or just getting him for without having the Cleveland Cavaliers to match for something. That would be great. How about Stephen Curry go to the Celtics? Ask Clara Murphy. I don't see that happening. I just don't see that happening. That would mean a complete rebuild for the Warriors. That would be nice for the Celtics. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. Tatum and Stephen Curry would be insane. I don't see that happening. The the Warriors would probably ask for Tatum back. Rango is asking Cousins. I actually didn't mind Cousins, and I made a video of the Raptors and how they should acquire him, but I just don't like Cousins anymore. The issue, that ego he has. I thought he fixed his issues, but then you saw him how he played with the Clippers. He just still, for whatever reason, some players just do not humble, even after having injuries after injuries, and he still has that ego where he feels like he could. There's a difference, guys, between having confidence. Let's say I'm a basketball player. I definitely have a lot of confidence in my abilities, but there's one thing. If you have to realize you're not at that level anymore, and Cousins does not realize that still, he still wants a lot of minutes, touches. So I don't see the Raptors acquiring him just because he could be a problem in the locker room. So let's see here. Sorry, guys, I'm catching up. I'll try to go through these questions quick here. Where did I lose you guys? So Armand is asking, Raptors can develop Bagley into a very solid big. I absolutely agree. What about Moses Brown? I like him. I've been reading comments. I haven't seen enough of him play, so I can't say what he's like. I know he's 7'2", though. He can rebound. He can block shots, but apparently a lot of people were saying he's a terrible player. I don't know. You guys would have to tell me about Moses Brown. He would be nice if the Raptors could get him. I know he just got traded to Dallas, though, in that Josh Richardson trade. Scotty Barnes' potential as a player is growing on me. I initially didn't like the pick, but now I do. Says Ashron. Agree. He's got amazing potential, guys. Trust me when I say this. I've broken in-depth analysis of his video like 2 months ago, even prior to like the Raptors getting the lottery in the 4th pick. So get Marcus All back. Possibly get him as a bench player for right pieces. I don't know if he comes back, though. He says clearly he wants to contend. Says YouTube coach. Ashron is asking, Kawhi is going back to the Clippers. Has he re-signed the deal? I'm just going to check on my updates here. I know he opted out, but I don't see any news about Kawhi going back to the Raptors. But if you're asking if he's going back to the Raptors, or you're saying he's going back to the Clippers, or that's not Raptors, sorry, excuse me, Clippers, I definitely see Kawhi going back to the Clippers. Kawhi back to the Raptors, maybe like a 5% chance, says Armand. I agree. I just don't see it happening. Bagley is paid $11 million, only 1 more year, says Phil Gaps. That is a decent price to pay for someone who's been injured, but he's a very young player. Maybe, you know what, the Raptors sign him next season. Alcebido, Dragic and Precious for Lowry. I would ask for more. As a Raptors fan, I'm greedy. Like I said, we don't have to do Miami Heat any favors. I'm asking for more. What do you think about getting CJ McCollum? I like him. CJ McCollum is not a good defender, though. And if we're giving up Pascal, I'm not doing that deal, guys. CJ McCollum's like 30 years old, too, so I don't know. They're paying him quite a bit, too. Josh is asking, Maccabi Tel Aviv Israel champion. I don't know if that's a team or a player you're asking about. I'd have to look that up. Ibaka back, says YouTube coach. Yeah, he's gone back to the not Miami. He's gone back to the Clippers. Josh M is asking, Miami got room now, dropped Iggy. They did, but they had more before they decided to pick up that team option on Dragic. So now they have about 19 or 20 million, I believe. So they don't have that much cap space to sign Lowry. You'd rather do Lowry good and trade him to a contending team, says Danish. I agree. Well, he can just sign with any team, but absolutely agree. I don't think you do him dirty. He's done a lot for the Raptors. Magic fan here. So happy we got Suggs. Barnes will be good, but happy to get Suggs. I'm sorry, guys. I'm terrible at pronouncing names. So Georgie Porgy asked that the Magic got Suggs. Hey, I'm happy for you guys, but apparently there are rumors about him flunking the workout with the Raptors. I wasn't happy about that. So if he doesn't want to be here, his loss. But hey, if you're a Magic fan, I'm happy you guys got Suggs too. He's a nice player. Primetime Kai is staying with the Raptors, in my opinion. That's a very likely possibility. You know what? Very likely possibility. Never say never to that. Colin's asking, Holmes bring him on. Colin, I agree. Colin, the only thing is Holmes is going to be asking for $20 million. So if you sign him, he's your starting center, and I believe he's like 6'10". So I personally think we need a center. I do want to hear from you guys. What do you guys think, though? Do you think we should sign someone like Jarret Allen or go for Holmes? Would you rather have Gary Trent or Lowry? Gary Trent Jr. I love Kyle Lowry. Believe me when I say this, I really do like him, but I think it's time for him and the Raptors to depart and move on, unless the Raptors acquire a star player and we're ready to contend again. Primetime is asking Isaiah Lewis both. Sorry, I'm not sure what you're saying. Ashron is asking, what do you think Scotty Barnes' potential? Do you think Toronto will get traded? Or do you mean if Scotty Barnes gets traded. I don't think Scotty Barnes is going anywhere, but potential-wise, I think he has a combination. I know people keep talking about, here's the thing, Ben Simmons and Draymond Green. He's way more athletic than Draymond Green. His shot already looks better. No disrespect to Ben Simmons. I know everyone can hit in practice, but his determination, that grit he has, he's already talked about being the best player in the league. So I like that. As a Raptors fans, I love hearing that. I think he's got higher potential than both of them. Call me crazy. We want Kawhi back, says Kawhi Sexual. Raptors, if you're speaking from the Raptors point of view, absolutely. He would be amazing if he comes back. I don't see him coming back. And Miami wanted Lowry, get them to include Earth 7-foot Turkish player. John, if you've seen my videos, I've covered that player so much. He's slow-footed, though. He's a really nice player. I like him, but I don't know if I would love him on the Raptors, actually, but I don't know if the Raptors will trade him because the Miami Heat will have a lot of assets they could give us. I would love for the Raptors to get him, though. Zach Collins to the Raptors asking Ashwir Somal. I would like him, but the only issue is he's had a foot injury. He's going to be likely out for the entire season, or he's going to come at the very end of the season, and I don't know. That's huge. He's still a young player, though. That is one thing we do need to keep in mind, though. We could develop him, but he's going to be out for the year. Isaac is asking prime time. That would be ideal. Okay, JK is asking, I want Lowry traded. I do too. I really like Lowry, but I think it's time to move on. Kawhi Sexual is asking, why would any team agree to a sign and trade when other teams can just sign him up, right? Kawhi Sexual, it depends, because if the Miami Heat want him, we know Kyle Lowry wants 25, 30 million. They don't have that cap space to sign him. So it'd have to be a sign and trade. And also Kyle Lowry isn't just going to sign with the Pelicans just because, obviously money is a big factor, but he did say he wants to win. So, well, that is something we do need to keep in mind. Isaac Lewis is asking, I still think keeping Lowry is our best option, possibly. But if we're paying him $30 million a year for the next 3 years, I don't know about that. Smooth Brown Man, Dwight Powell, that's his name. I forgot his first name. Dwight Powell is really nice. I watched him a lot in that Clippers versus Mavs series. He's much like Khem Birch, but I believe he's taller and more athletic than Khem Birch. So he would be really nice on the Raptors. But if we're signing Dwight Powell, I have to look up his height. I believe he's 6'10". Very similar to Khem Birch, excuse me. And he's Canadian too, so he'd be amazing on the Raptors. 6'10", 245 pounds. Yeah, he's an inch or two taller than Khem Birch. So if we bring him on, I don't think we can bring Khem Birch on. We can't have two centers that are 6'9", 6'10". But yeah, Vanity says hi. Hey Vanity, how are you? JK says no. James Anthony Bobon. I've talked about him earlier. He'd be a nice bench piece. He's a really funny guy. I feel like he'd really lighten up the locker room. He's amazing. Vanity's asking, hey, how are you? I'm doing great, Vanity. How are you? Jay's asking again, we need a good center. Absolutely. We don't want to cheap out on centers like we did in the last offseason. That's going to be horrendous for the Raptors. We don't want to go through another bad year of where we're in the bottom feeding, or at least at the bottom of the conference. Clara is asking Celtics, Larry from the Raptors. Who are the Celtics? Sorry, I'm not sure what you're saying. Armand's saying Suggs looks pretty happy not being drafted by the Raptors. I agree. I think it has to do with the combination of him being really happy for Scotty Barnes. But when you see his initial reaction, as soon as the camera went on him, you could see his hands just clenching like this, like, yes. And normally you do that even if you won like a lottery ticket, or if you've gone somewhere where you want to go. And I don't think he wanted to go with the Raptors. There's been some rumors about that. Kawhi Sexual is asking, okay, sorry. It's Michael asking, Windhorst says Suggs' workout was bad. Yeah, there's rumors about that. Apparently he didn't want to be with the Raptors and he purposely screwed up his workout. That's horrible already. For someone who's trying to get in the NBA, I feel like a lot of these players these days, they're so spoiled and they try to handpick where they want to go. That's pretty sad if that's the case. Kawhi Sexual, you're asking me again, why would any team agree to give up draft picks and to sign and trade for Lowry when teams can sign? The thing, again, I mentioned Miami Heat don't have enough money to pay Lowry. That's why you would do a sign and trade. Bagley for Hood, but we would have to add a future first. Absolutely. I think, Phil, we'd probably have to give up a little bit more. Clara says, hi, Clara. Primetime Kawhi Sexual, no, because, yeah, so smooth. Dwight Powell, the power forward with Dallas. Yeah, he'd be nice. The world be going up. Orlando better not ruin Suggs' career. I hope not. They've had a history of not developing a lot of players. I know. Here's the thing with Orlando Magic. They drafted Victor Oladipo, and I believe that was the year they traded him to Oklahoma City Thunder. He did well. Now he got traded to the Pacers. He started killing it. They also had Domantas Sabonis at one time. So they had some nice players, and those players just do a lot better when they go on other teams. So I really hope the Orlando Magic don't screw up Suggs' career. Rumors are CJ McCollum for swapping Siakam. Ask Ashron. I would not do that. We have too many guards already in. CJ is nice, but not for Pascal. Nathan's asking, who from free agency class should the Raptors target at center? So, Nathan, I think without a doubt, you have to target someone like Jarret Allen. Jarret Allen is the ideal player. He fits in with the Raptors team. Nice center, good defensive big man. He's a 7-foot center. He's only 23 years old. He's got a lot of time to grow. And he's also great shot blocker as well. So I love him. Mikhail says Siakam's not getting traded. I agree. Okay, so Matthew's asking, Siakam for CJ makes no sense to me. Based on how we drafted, we aren't bringing in one-way players. Matthew, I agree. CJ McCollum is nice. He can be that guy who can hit clutch shots for us, but I don't see him coming to the Raptors. I don't know where these BS rumors come from, honestly, guys. The U.S. media just loves to make up these crazy rumors about trading Pascal and we get like a first-round pick and some crappy player. I mean, that's not happening. I don't even think those talks were held, if I'm being honest. I don't think that makes sense. CJ's not a good defensive player. Herb of the Serb says 3 teams sign and trade Lowry to Miami, Precious to Toronto, Dragic to Dallas. Personally, Herb, I would want more from the Miami Heat. I think they can give us more. I want future first-round picks, and I definitely want more than Precious Achiuwa just Precious Achiuwa to Toronto. That is a nice trade, though. But Eister, You're Dead, Kyle Lowry, and Chris Boucher, first-round pick next year and second round the following year to Washington for Beal and Hachimura. I love that trade. I don't think the Washington Wizards will do that trade, though. Let's see. All right, let's see here, guys. I'm just going through some comments, trying to keep up. There's quite a bit. Wow, I really need to speak faster. There's quite a few comments I need to get to. Sorry, guys. I'm getting to these comments a lot faster. Okay, so who would you want in return for Siakam? Personally, if I'm trading Siakam, someone like Brandon Ingram. I know that deal's not going to happen. The Pelicans aren't giving up that deal, but someone who's a better scorer than Siakam. Because if you're giving up your leading scorer for a team that struggles to score points, I want someone like that. The world be going up says he's not the Sacktown Cousins anymore. I agree. What about Masai's contract? It's August, didn't run out. I believe his contract comes up the same day free agency does. So that's the crappy thing. I hope we hear about it sooner. I hope he doesn't leave. I do have a weird feeling he may just leave, but let's see what happens. Lowry for Moses Brown, I would want more. The world be going up. I personally would want a lot more than Lowry for Lowry if we're signing and trading him. We have bird rights over Lowry, so that means we can pay him more than most teams, right? Yes, we can. So we can essentially, even if let's say our salary cap is full, we don't have any more cap space, we can still afford to pay someone like Lowry and even Gary Trent Jr. We can re-sign him and go over that cap space, so we can pay him whatever. We'd just be in the luxury tax. That's the only thing. Kyle Lowry to the Bulls says, Newski gang. The only issue is who do we acquire from the Bulls? So, like, are we talking about picks? Are we talking about Kobe White? Who are we acquiring for the Bulls if we're trading Lowry there? What if we trade Siakam for Cat? Here's the thing. I really like Cat. I really do. That's a tricky trade, though, because, like I said, is Cat going to come in and be your leading scorer? I really do like Cat, guys. Don't get me wrong. He fixes your rebounding issue. His defense obviously needs work, but I don't know if I do that trade. I'm on the fence on that one. Everyone needs to remember Lowry would need to agree on the team involved in any sign and trade. Agreed, Michael. That's the thing. We can't it's not an issue of where you just sign and trade him to wherever. You don't sign him, trade him to Minnesota. He has to agree, and he obviously wants to go to a contender. Swaggy says, how do you feel about Barnes? I love him. I'm super hyped about him. I know my reaction was a little bit disappointed, but that's because freaking Michael Grange came out in the morning and said that we're drafting Suggs. So I was fixated on that, and that was just an initial shock. I really love Suggs. All right. The world be going up. Barnes is in good hands. I agree. Honestly, the Raptors don't have a chance of making 10 to 8 in the conference, says Newski gang. I think they'll be fine. Win more. Clutch takes. What's up? 218 viewers. Yes, thank you. It's 236. Thanks, guys. Keep it up. It's amazing to have you guys here. Scrambles, what's up, man? I finally got to your comments. Watch us end up with Gary Trent, Kyle Lowry, and Isaiah Harnstein. I forget how to pronounce his name. I looked up a little bit. That's the guy you mentioned on one of my videos. He played with the Cleveland Cavaliers. He's a legit 7-foot center. I would really like the Raptors to get him on a cheap contract if they could. I think we can get him on like a 2-year, $5-6 million contract if that's possible. What do you think about getting Karl Anthony Towns for Pascal and a pick? Trendy, I would not do that deal. Not for a pick. Pascal for Karl, I don't know. That's a maybe. Raptors, if healthy, can compete well in the playoffs, as some people be like, I absolutely agree. I think they can compete. We have a lot of personnel, and Nick Nurse is a good coach. Do you think Miami is going to get DeRozan and Lowry? That's going to be challenging because they have 18 or 19 million now after they accepted Goran Dragic's team option. So if they do pick him up, like are the Spurs going to take Dragic and they have to get more for DeRozan? Then they're going to have to sign and trade for both players. They can't outright sign them anymore. They don't have the money to, unless DeRozan's taking $19 million. Maybe that's a possibility, but I don't see that happening. Okay, so Phil Gaps, you can't announce deals until 6 p.m. Eastern. The paperwork later in the week. I agree. So I believe the deals are official on the 6th or the 9th. I forget the date, but that is official. But we're obviously reporters always ruin everything. We're gonna hear a lot of rumors beforehand. You think we would take on Dragic's contract even though it's 1 year? Possibly if the Miami Heat throw in enough pieces. Achiwa, future first. Maybe if we get greedy, we ask for Hero and a future first, but I don't see that happening. But let's wait and see. Raptors can sign Dennis Schroeder, says Rango. I don't know, man. After the year he had, I personally don't want to sign him. Not because I don't believe he's better than what he's shown. I think he's a good player. But here's the thing about Schroeder. We have Malachi Flynn at our backup point guard. We have obviously not Gary Trent Jr., excuse me, Fred VanVleet. And then we also have Scotty Barnes who can handle the ball. I don't know. I personally wouldn't want Schroeder. He's going to be asking for quite a bit of money too. There's been rumors about that. Holmes is expected to re-sign with the Kings, says the world be going up. Really? I did not know that, huh? That's kind of surprising. I thought he would want to go somewhere else. Nusky Gang is asking Andre Drummond. His defense is terrible, man. I personally really liked Drummond last year, but then you realize how poor of a defender he is. I don't like it. Scrambles is asking, will take more than Siakam and pick. Barnes and Flynn would get Cat, though, I think. Possibly. Iced, you're add more. Trade Lowry and picks for Dame, says Cool Man. I don't think the Portland Trail Blazers take it. I think they want younger players and assets or someone like a Pascal. Scotty Barnes is Giannis 2.0, possibly. If he puts in the work, which he seems like he's very determined to do, very possibility, but he's got a long ways to go. Some people be like, everything is looking good for our team. If we re-sign Trent and Birch, all we need is a big shooting guard and a starting center. I agree. We definitely need a center. Ashron, sorry about that. Do you think Siakam gets traded? I don't see that happening. I don't know where these rumors are coming from. We know the Raptors don't leak. So Jaden is asking, Miami trying to pair DeMar and DeRozan and Lowry again. I heard those rumors too. That's crazy. I don't know how they're going to do it with the 19 million cap space they have. I think Barnes can be like Iguodala. I think more. LeVar Ball. Fake account, I'm sure. But LeVar Ball, I think Barnes can be a lot better than Iguodala. And he's a great player. Don't get me wrong. I think his offense has a lot more potential. CWE, Stewie. I'm sorry for mispronouncing your name. He says, hey, how's it going, man? Michaels asks, I only see Lowry in Miami or Dallas. Personally, Philly, possible. I agree. I think those realistically thinking, I think Dallas, Philly, Miami. I don't see him going to the Pelicans unless the Pelicans acquire another good piece or they're overpaying him. They're paying him like $33 million, then maybe, but I'd rather have Lonzo Ball than Goran Dragic. I agree. Lonzo Ball is really nice. The only question mark is like, what do you do with Gary Trent Jr.? We can't have Fred VanVleet. We can't have Lonzo Ball and Malachi Flynn, right? So I feel like we'd have to move someone. Or, I mean, you can play Lonzo at the shooting guard, but where does Gary Trent Jr. play then? Fred, OG Barnes, Siakam, Gary Trent Jr., that's a defensive beast team. I agree, man. That's going to be a really nice team. Do you think the Raptors will do a sign and trade with Lowry and Tyler Hero? I hope so. That'd be a dream scenario if we do sign Tyler Hero. It's funny I say that, I was just saying, where are we going to play Lonzo Ball? But Tyler Hero is a nice player. He's very young, I think, and he's under contract soon. So that's the thing. You're not paying him a lot of money now. So I would really like Tyler Hero. I do feel like we need to set him in place. He's kind of just gone off the ropes after that bubble day. I don't know what's happening. You want Goran Dragic on the Raptors is asking Kervin. I personally wouldn't mind. Here's the thing, though. Like, it depends on where the Raptors are going to spend their money. Are they going to go all out this offseason and spend money on Jarret Allen, Gary Trent Jr., and Goran Dragic? Right? Like, do you guys realistically see that team having a run in the playoffs, a good run? If yes, then you totally take Goran Dragic. Otherwise, I wouldn't. Bottom line, Raptors need to keep Birch. I agree, man. Birch is so underrated. People don't realize how good he is defensively and how well he fit in with the Raptors system. Scramble's asking, we need to re-sign Gary Trent Jr. for sure and Masai. And from there, whatever is left for center, bring back Lowry and go over cap space. Scrambles, I absolutely think so. I believe Lowry may go, but you know what? We're trying to trade Kyle Lowry several times now. Not this past season. We tried to trade him in our championship run. We apparently, well, not apparently, we did try to trade him to the New York Knicks when the Raptors were trying to blow it up, and that was the first season we made the playoffs after a really long time. I believe that's 2013. What do you think if we get Karl Anthony Towns for Pascal Siakam and a pick? I don't know. I personally, Trendy, I wouldn't do that. Raptors fans asking CWE. Yes, I am. I'm a Raptors fan, bro. I got this. I'm not rocking I know I'm rocking an Australia shirt. Someone got me this from Australia. I'm in Canada, if you guys are wondering. Lowry staying? Possibly. Ask Roulette. I think there's a possibility. I wouldn't rule it out. I definitely see a sign and trade happening, though. Ryan is asking when. With or without Lowry, the Raptors are fine, but the main topic should be a center. I absolutely agree. They need to fix that center position. That's a huge issue for us. One thing I feel a lot of us forget is that since Pascal underwent surgery, he'll be missing the start of the season, so we have to keep that in mind. I absolutely agree, and I think that is – I want to make a future video on this, but you know what? Let's just talk about this now. I believe this is going to be the biggest chance for someone like a Gary Trent Jr., but also OG Anunoby to show what they're capable of on the offensive side. Having seen those guys as our main options on the scoring options on the offensive side, we'll see what they do. Our future pick won't be lottery. No, very unlikely unless we blow it up this offseason and decide to rebuild. Will Lowry stay or leaves? I think he personally leaves. I don't see him staying. Hey, British Columbia, let's go, says Richard. Richard, I'm from British Columbia as well, man. How's it going? Jordan's asking Kyle and DeMar going to Dallas. That's definitely a possibility. Dallas do have quite a bit. The only thing is they can't outright sign both of those guys unless one of them decides to take a little less money, but they're going to have to sign and trade for one of them. Siakam for McCollum, Lowry for Dragic, says Arman. I don't do that. Siakam for McCollum, I personally wouldn't do that. Lowry for Dragic, I would want more. Roulette, we're tanking again? I don't think so. I don't think we're tanking unless we decide to trade away Fred VanVleet and Pascal and then try to decide we want to build around Gary Trent Jr. and OG Anunoby, who are 22 and 23, I believe, or 23 and 24 now. So, yeah, it was OG's birthday last week. So, the Bubble Celtics versus the Raptors game 6. Oh, man, I was having a heart attack watching that game. I just had a bad feeling the Raptors are going to lose, and I wanted to go to game 7 so badly, and my heart was pumping. Kervin. Ryan's asking, Jarret Allen would be our savior if his price goes down. Absolutely. Jarret Allen is perfect, man. He'd work wonders on our defense. Thank God we got Barnes, says the world be going up. I agree. Barnes is nice, man. Barnes is super nice. You think we would take on Dragic's contract? Probably if the right pieces are given. We should go after Dwight Howard to help with our rebounding problems. You know what? I agree, says Jordan. Here's the thing. There's been a lot of talks about Dwight Howard not being, a locker room issue or whatever it is, but he's shown over the last few years he's matured. I think if you could play him at the backup position, he's a strong guy too. You could definitely line him up against Joel Embiid, and he gave Nikola Jokic problems in terms of being physical with him. I think he would be nice, man. He could definitely help our rebounding problem. You think the Raptors will have interest in Kelly Olynyk? Who else would Houston trade? Kelly Olynyk scrambles is a free agent, so I think we can sign him. I could be wrong on that one. Jonathan says, could we get Iguodala for Lowry in a sign and trade? Iguodala's gone. He's a free agent. They declined his option this morning. Do not sign any free agent center and get locked into a guy. That's okay. Trade for one and keep options open and better free agent class. So here's the thing, Michael, you're saying this, but you guys, if you get to do a quick Google search, I want to show you guys, take a look at next year's free agent class. And man, it almost makes me want to do the same thing we did last offseason, but not really, because I don't want to go through another tank season. But NBA free agencies next year is absolutely insane. 2022. You got all the stars in the NBA, seems like, that are free agents next year. And then the following year, you have guys like, I believe, Joel Embiid and Nikola Jokic. So next year's free agent class, this is next year's free agents class, guys. John Wall, James Harden, Russell Westbrook, Kevin Durant, Stephen Curry, Chris Paul, Bradley Beal, Kemba Walker, Jimmy Butler, Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard, we know, has opted out recently. He's going to re-sign for a contract. Kyrie Irving, Gary Harris, Julius Randle, Zach LaVine, and there's some nice pieces too. Terry Rozier, Goran Dragic, Jonas Valanciunas is free agent next season. Again, some nice pieces. Marcus Smart, Marvin Bagley. So yeah, and DeAndre Ayton as well. Wow. Anthony Edwards. So man, next year's class is stacked. And James Wiseman too. Apparently they're going to re-sign him, no doubt. DeAndre Hunter. Next year's class is absolutely stacked. Jackson Hayes, Colin Sexton is why they're trying to trade him. Ruchi Hachimura. Shea Gilgeous Alexander is supposed to be free agent. Next year's class is stacked, man. It's Tyler Hero is supposed to be free agent next year too. So let's see here. Do not sign Lowry for Dragic and Precious. I think that's a good deal. I think we can get more. Clyde. So Skim guy asked realistic expectations for Scotty's first year. Here's the thing: his scoring numbers aren't going to be great because we saw Malachi Flynn, who's a good shooter, but he struggled at the NBA level. And I do believe Scotty can develop a shot. I don't see him averaging more than 5 points. He's going to put up random numbers like 5 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, or 2 assists, depending on how much of an offensive or how involved we get him in our offense and defense. So it depends on how he does. But I do believe I can see him getting like a steal a game and a block a game. What about Kyle Lowry for Lonzo Ball? I would love that. Ask Irvin. I would love Lonzo Ball. The issue is there's been rumors this morning that came out that Lonzo and Chicago Bulls have mutual interest. So Lowry for Dragic, Precious, and a 2025 first, and then reroute Dragic to Dallas for Kleber and Josh Green. That would not be a bad trade, actually. I saw Kleber. I'm sure I'm butchering his name. Maxi Kleber. He would be really nice. I really like him. I feel like Canadian players get a power up when they join the Raptors. So some people be like, absolutely, I agree. I do agree. I think they do. I wonder if the chase for Simmons still might happen, but preferably not. Ask Michael. I don't see it happening. We got Scotty Barnes. I don't see the Raptors chasing him, and I think his price has dropped significantly. Apparently, there's rumors they wanted to get rid of Simmons by the end of the draft night. That didn't happen. We know the Warriors and Raptors were interested, so I don't know what other team's going to pay ridiculous price. Scrambles asking Rodney Hood, Stanley Johnson, and Aaron Baines for Kelly Olynyk. Scrambles, I could be wrong. I believe Kelly Olynyk is a free agent, so we can just sign him. Unless you're talking about a sign and trade, then yes, that makes sense. I think the Rockets do that deal. Lowry for Dragic, Precious, 2021. Oh, sorry, I've already read this. Suggs wants the national media attention, and if he's in Toronto, he won't get that. ESPN barely talked about Suggs once the Raptors got the 4th pick because everyone expected to go to the Raptors, says Ashwan. I agree. I think it's unfortunate. We're seeing it with college players too. Now a lot of them don't want to come to the Raptors. Hey, it's their loss. We're a great media. We've got great organization, great developmental system, great coaches, executive. We've got great fans. So their loss, man. If they don't want to be here, that's their problem. Parker's asking Lloyd for Dragic, Precious, 2021. Sorry, I don't know if I'm seeing this comment over and over. Oh, I think it just duplicated. Is Tyler Hero and a free agent? Asked the Minecraft player. No, that's next year's free agency. I was talking about how stacked they are. Jarret Allen wants a bag. I definitely agree. See, Skim guy, he does want a bag. Is there? Oh, where did that comment go? Sorry, guys. There's just so much comments. I'm trying to catch up. Where did it go? Oh boy, I need to go through these faster, guys. Hang on with me here. Everyone wants a bag. Can the Raptors go after Demarcus Cousins? They could, but I don't see that happening. Let's see here. Okay, so someone's saying, okay, Dampaji, which means what's up in Punjabi for those of you guys who might be Punjabi. Zook TV, what's up, man? How's it going? Kidda? Is Lowry leaving most likely? Nerlens Noel, I don't see that happening. Everyone wants a bag. Absolutely. Can the Raptors go after Demarcus Cousins? I don't see that happening. Siakam isn't going anywhere, says the world be going up. I agree. Toronto Raptors didn't leak any trade or information to the media. Ashron says, I agree. Lowry for Dragic. Okay, this trade's been talked about. Let's trade Baines. We will. That's why his deal is pushed back till tomorrow. Have a good one for you, Paji, says Duke TV. Thank you. I appreciate it. How far do you think the Raptors will go this year? I think top 4 or 5. In the 4th or 5th position, most likely. How about a trade with Sacramento? Depends on who we're getting back. A first and a Bagley for Siakam. I don't want to trade Siakam for Bagley and a first. I think we can get way more for Siakam. You trade Pascal for CJ McCollum? Nope. Realistic expectations for Scotty's first year. Like I said, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 4 or 5 points. I don't see him averaging a lot of points. Can we decline and sign and trade Dragic? Seems like a free salary dump. Not sure what you're asking, Mr. Bro. You think Bradley Beal is going to get traded? I think so. Definitely, without a doubt. Bagley and first for Siakam. No, I'm not doing that. What trading Baines? We'll trade him soon, and we're going to decline his option. The only player on trade block for us is Hood, Baines, Bembry, because those are our team options. I believe Bembry. Oh yeah, it's Bembry a team option as well. So Lowry for Zubac and Kennard. I believe Luke Kennard get traded. Did he not get traded? In my humble opinion, just Lowry and 2 first-round picks, but definitely wouldn't happen. It would be nice if you get 2 first-round picks. I don't see that happening. Even if Masai leaves, I still think they're in good hands with Bobby Webster and Nick Nurse. We'll have a very smart front office. I agree. It'd be great to have Masai Jerry back, but if he decides he wants to go somewhere else, we have a good team. Stanley and Lowry sign and trade possible deals, but Hood. Yes, free agency is tomorrow. Asking Ray Quiz. Yes, it is. It's at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 Eastern. As was said before, Demarcus Cousins has a huge attitude problem and is washed out. So big pass on that, says Phil. I agree. It should be Lowry for Tyler Hero or Jimmy Butler. Says GH. I don't think we're getting Jimmy Butler. That's Masai Ujiri is good, but not that good. For Lowry, we can get Precious or KZ Okapala. That would be deadly. I would probably ask for a bit more. I'm greedy, says G. Clyde is asking Van Vliet, Flynn, Trent, Junior, Kennard, OG, Barnes, Siakam, Boucher, and Zubac. That would be a nice, but it depends on who we're giving up. I think that's the deal you mentioned earlier. Lowry for Zubac and Kennard. I would want more for Lowry. I'm greedy, guys. I'm greedy. I think Masai can pull up more. Cousins is a liability in the locker room. I agree. Do you think Barnes will get traded? Baines? I don't think Baines will get traded. I think declined option, but if we include him, it will be for salary purposes. Some people be like Okapala could be included in the Heat package for Lowry. He's a 6'8", two-way guard. I agree. Should put Hood, Baines, and Bembry in the trade machine and see what the best we can get. 2 second-round picks, scrambles. Is Lowry getting traded for sure? There's no way to know. GH, the Raptors don't leak information. We don't know. You think the Lakers can win a ring without Westbrook? No. Hell no. Booby Miles. The thing about regular season success and playoff success is 2 different things. They're going to struggle in half-court offense because LeBron James is attacking the rim. Russell Westbrook is attacking the rim. Like, where's the floor spacing going to be? I would have liked Buddy Hield on their team, but it depends on who they're gonna sign. There's still some free agents they can sign for floor spacing. It totally depends on how they fill out their roster. Does free agency have an ending date, or is it open till opening season starts? I believe it's till opening season. Sharon Deep. I could be wrong there. Do you support Indian farmers? Yes, I do. Kawhi sexual. Spicy P for RJ Barrett. I don't know, guys. What do you guys think? RJ Barrett for Spicy P? And we'd be in rebuild mode if we did that. I personally wouldn't do it. You guys can call me out on that one. That's fine. Our Raptors like to work with people and get them to their limit. A lot of people are sleeping on Barnes. Says the world be going up. I absolutely agree. He's a beast on defense. Miami can sign DeRozan to $20 million and then sign and trade for Lowry with a Dragic contract. Says Parker. Yes, we want more for Lowry than that, though. We're greedy Raptors fans. Lowry is 35 and you're asking for more, says Claudia. Hey, man, we saw with Chris Paul what he did last season. So I feel like the narrative of how the Raptors and just how players are, I feel like it's changed. It's not 35 how it used to be 10 years ago. And I mean, yes, he's had injury issues, but I think that'd be a nice thing for Lowry, man. A decent asking price. Victor Oladipo for DeMar. You know what? Spurs might do that. That's a good suggestion. The length we will have this year is going to make up for previous seasons. Absolutely. I agree. We're going to have a lot of time. That's what Raptors fans, we don't realize our season ended, April? I can't even remember the end date, but we're going to have more than 5 months to prepare for the regular season. So I think our players are going to have a lot of time to put in the work and just get that much better. What are the chances of getting Spencer Dinwiddie or Lonzo Ball to the Raptors? Spencer Dinwiddie, sign and trade possible. Lonzo Ball, sign and trade. I don't see that happening. I mean, like, are we going to trade Chris Boucher to the Nets? I don't know. It has to depend on who. Washington has some nice bigs. They do. They really do. What's going on? How far are you behind? Hey, sorry, Booby. I'm just like 5-6 comments behind. I'm catching up. After finding out last season we were playing in Tampa, I knew we weren't making the playoffs. Do you think travel restrictions will keep them playing at home? I don't think so. The Jays are back in Toronto. I know that. Birch was not even a bad 3-point shooter with the Raptors this season, says GH. I agree. There's a rumor Gary Trent Jr. will sign $55 million 3 years. Possibly, says Mr. Bro. I hate Tampa, says the Minecraft player. I agree. I don't like it either. The biggest chance of Lowry sign and trade is for teams who don't have the cap space to sign him, says Scramble. I agree. Have you watched the season 2 of Never Have I Ever? I have not, man. I'm in school full time, 5 days a week, so I'm unfortunately not. What are your thoughts on Lily Singh? She used to be funny. I like her. I haven't kept up with her a lot lately. Some teams would need to shed salary because they don't have the cap space to sign him. I agree, Scrambles. I think Dragic is 34%. His contract is $24 million. Not worth it. I think John, his contract is $19 million. the contract that Dragic signed, unless I'm incorrect, you guys could correct me. I love Kem Birch, but I also think we will need a big center, says Phil. I agree. Siakam for Wiggins and Wiseman, no. We're going to be rebuilding if that happens. Masai may leave if that happens. Gia says, I know, such a good trade. Do you agree with Barnes' pick over Suggs? You know what? I was asked AEO234. I actually covered Barnes a lot. I really like Barnes. He's, in terms of his defense, he's a menace. And you can teach defense. You can't teach defense. You can teach offense. So Kawhi Leonard wasn't known for his offense when he came in. I'm not saying he's the next Kawhi, but I could definitely see having Barnes is a really nice pick over Suggs. Lowry for Hardaway Jr. I don't know, possibly, but I would want more. Like I said, I'm greedy. I'm a greedy Raptors fan. I would want a lot more. See, Les Lowry to the Heat. Can you please run for Can you please run for Brampton's mayor office? Brampton is a war zone. I don't know, man. I've never been to Brampton. That's funny though. Clyde is asking Lowry for Zubac and Kennard. I would ask for more. Barnes over Suggs was the right pick. If Fred didn't want to be in Suggs' shadow, then Barnes was the guy. Barnes over Suggs was by far the right pick. I don't think Fred would have been in the shadows of Suggs. I think Suggs would definitely take some time. Again, we don't know. It's going to take some time in terms of how long Suggs is going to take. We still have yet to see him at the NBA level, so let's see what happens. One thing I think is possible is using what received in the sign and trade, flip for assets. Michael, I agree. I actually think we can get those assets and flip them for a better, like a really good player. Ryan says BC2. What's up, guys? All my British Columbia fans. So what is up? Why does Jagmeet Singh try so hard to raise taxes? Kawhi, I don't know. Kawhi sexual. I'm not going to talk politics. That's a sensitive topic. Still live. Let's go. Absolutely, guys. If you want to give this video a thumbs up, it does help reach more basketball fans. This live is it's going down a little bit, but that's okay. That's okay. I'm trying to get to questions as quick as possible. Suggs would be instantly come in and be on par with Fred for leadership. Possibly. You never know. I think Suggs is a more ready player for the NBA now compared to Barnes, but I think long-term Barnes has more potential. We need a guard to replace Lowry, says Ashley. Ashley, here's the thing, though. We have Fred VanVleet. I think let him run the point guard position. Have Gary Trent Jr. run the shooting guard position. Then you have Malachi Flynn running a point guard from the bench. So it just depends. Maybe we need a shooting guard off the bench, or depends on where you play Scotty Barnes. So if Kyle Lowry's staying, I would sign him to a 1 year, $20 million. That is it. That's a fair deal. I think Kyle Lowry wants more, though. He's getting to the age where he wants the money. So what price are you comfortable for Gary Trent Jr.? Me personally, I don't think he'll sign for $15 million. Have him somewhere in the 15 to 18 range, personally. Dragic over $19 million. Yes. Dwight wants to go back to the Lakers. Dwight Howard. Oh, yes, I read that, Booby. Canada needs the respect, says the Minecraft. I agree. We can't spend bad money, says Ashley. Totally. 22, 23 free agents in is really good, says Ashron. I agree. Jokic is nice. He would be nice. I say keep Gary Trent Jr. I agree. Ashley. Okay, sorry, guys. Wow, I'm really behind on those comments. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to catch up here. Okay, let's see. Wow, Jimmy Butler, says Celestine. I'm sorry for mispronouncing the name. Did some news just get dropped that I'm missing out? What just happened? Let's see, guys. Let's see. Did some Raptors news get dropped? Oh, so there's. What do you guys think? Someone tweeted this out, guys. I want to ask you guys. What do you guys think, Raptors fans? Are you down with trading Kyle Lowry for Goran Dragic and Precious Achiuwa? What do you guys think? Do you think that's possible? Do you think the Raptors should get more? What do you guys think? Personally, as a Raptors fan, like I said, I would more. I think half of those guys going to get extended, says Ashley. We need a guard to replace. Yes. I say keep Gary Trent. Okay. Aren't Trent and players like him a dime in a dozen? I don't know. It's hard to say. But we really need him. Half of the people on the 22 list you made are restricted, says Dave. They probably are. And you know what? All of these star players, let's not kid ourselves. They're going to sign on like 3 or 4 teams. They're going to pair up. Is Jimmy Butler a free agent, says the Minecraft? No, he's going to be a free agent next summer. Lots of free agents next year will be extended like Giannis did last year, or OG. That's a possibility. I think a lot of star players will probably pair up. So that's next year's free agency is going to be insane. What about Barnes starting at center? I don't know. I'm not comfortable with that yet. It depends on matchups. I could definitely see them. Barnes is so long. Yeah, I agree. John Hamilton says Barnes is going to get 9 points, 2 steals, 2 blocks, 5 rebounds. That's a very good possibility. That's very realistic. I just think it depends on how much you involve him on offense. We saw Nick Nurse not involve Malachi Flynn last season. I know Scotty Barnes is a different player and better player, but it depends on how much we play him. Suggs wants to be a leader of a team from the jump. Everything worked out for everyone, but we have the best off the Magic many times. Okay. We got Scrambles. I don't know what you're saying. We got the guy who was happy to be with our team in Scotty. I think so, yeah. Because I follow the Raptors closely, says Minecraft. When does free agency end? Asked Sharondeep. I think it ends. It doesn't end. I think you can still sign players until the season begins. You can actually sign players into the season too. Add Terrence Mann in. It's a deal. Says Acure. Lowry sign and trade. Lowry's only going to Miami and keep Hero in return. Possibly. We know Masai Ujiri is not going to give up Lowry for nothing. Lowry to Clippers for Zubac and Fellers. I'm big on Zubac. I am too. I really like him. But I personally would want more. Lowry for Zubac or Kennard and Terrence Mann. That would be a nice deal. I'm not going to lie. I'm a little bit greedy. I like that deal. Are you going to regret not taking Suggs? He's a real deal and could contribute right away. I don't like the projects and see what happens theory. Art says Art H. Here's the thing. Suggs is the better player right now. I think he can contribute more to a team right away. But long term, I think Scotty Barnes. And we know, here's the issue, guys. We've tried the short guards thing with Fred VanVleet and Kyle Lowry, which is why I believe the Raptors not only drafted Scotty Barnes, but you saw the Canadian kid as well. 6'9". I think they're trying to move into longer, lengthy players in terms of like having them as guards. So I definitely think that's the case with the Raptors management. Are we sure Freddie and Flynn can hold a point? I think so, Clyde. I think Freddie could be the starting point guard. Flynn, let him run minutes. Let him run 15, 20 minutes off of the bench. I'm pretty sure he's very well capable of. I think he just needs consistent minutes. Can Barnes actually run point guard? He can, Clyde. He's a really good passer, and he played the backup point guard and still averaged 4 assists in college. So we do not need Siakam or Baines. That's arguable, says Serge. The Serge, I think that's arguable. I think we definitely need Pascal Siakam. Thoughts on Barnes instead of Suggs? Ask Model X. I like Barnes. I really do. I think the shock was from Michael Grange that came out with those reports early in the morning. He's talking about, how the Raptors are going to draft Suggs. That's a sure thing. And I don't know. I think Barnes is nice. I really like Barnes. So do you think DeMar and Lowry will meet on a team? I think so. I think that's a real possibility. I think the Dallas Mavericks may just snag both of them. Is Siakam not on the Raptors anymore? Asked Prisha Kumar. No, he's still on the Raptors. There's just been a lot of chatter on rumors, which I think are false, but unless he just got traded, unless something crazy just happened. All right. No, he's still here. I have not been keeping up with the Raptors. What's happening with Lowry? Asked Prisha. So Prisha, the thing is, Kyle Lowry is likely to get signed and traded because he wants to go to contender. He's also looking for 25 to 30 million. And there's a lot of playoff hungry teams that want Kyle Lowry who feel like they can take him to the next level. We saw what Chris Paul did with the Phoenix Suns in terms of where he brought them from a bottom of the conference to the top of the conference. So a lot of teams feel like that. And obviously, you know what, the Suns did have Devin Booker as well. So, how do you feel about Khem Birch to solidify our bench? I really like Khem Birch here. I think he's a perfect fit with the Raptors. Really nice player. I think the Raptors should totally get him. Quite a few teams are interested in him, but nothing has been announced. Barnes will go to 6'11" with handle, as says Alistair. Here's the thing. The guy's still 20 years old, and I wanted to drop a video on this, but I've been so busy with all the Raptors news and just working on my homework. I have exams coming out this week. So Barnes is still 20 years old. He's going to go for at least another 2-3 years. This guy's 6'7", 6'8", whatever they're listing him at. He's going to grow at least a few more inches, and he's going to be KD-esque, but not as good with the shot, I think. But yeah, he's definitely got the potential to be a 6'11" guard with handle. So that's definitely intriguing. All right, guys, I'm just catching up here. Let's see here. Oh, there's a little bit of fight going on here. So should we sell high on Boucher and add Zach Collins? Here's the thing, Patrick. With Zach Collins, he's had a foot injury again for the second year in a row. He missed all of last season with a foot injury. He's had the foot injury at the end of the season when it was ending. And now he's probably going to be out in the entire season. He's a really young player, though. So I don't know if the Raptors should get him. intriguing piece, but he's going to be out for the season. We do need to keep that in mind. Hayes and good to be Spurs for Tim Duncan. Hayes, I don't know, Phil asked Phil. I don't know if Tim, that's a huge comparison to compare him to Tim Duncan already, but he's a really nice player. Or Phil says Baines. Good to the Spurs for Tim Duncan. Okay, I see what you're talking about. You said Baines to the Spurs for Tim Duncan. Oh, gotcha. Okay, so and sign and trade Gary Trent Jr. for Jarret Allen? Possibly. That's a very realistic possibility. I think Gary Trent Jr. has a very high ceiling, though. I personally wouldn't do that. I know we really need a center, but Rap streamers miss a hella comments all the time. Don't stress it. I appreciate it, man. It's my first time streaming, and there's just been like a large, some of you guys just going off in the comment section. So thank you for being understanding. All right, so Aiden says, sign and trade Lowry to the Miami Heat and make sure Achiuwa is in the deal and we get Dragic and we could flip him. We should flip him, which is Aiden, which is what a lot of Raptors fans have suggested. Here's the thing with Dragic, though. If the Raptors are sure they want to flip him, then absolutely. They could potentially keep him, but I don't see them keeping him. That is a very good point. Serge says, would definitely take Dragic for Lowry. I would definitely as well. I think add in a few more pieces. But don't keep him, says Aiden again. Yeah, I could definitely see him being flipped to another team. Okay, so yeah, Galactic is mentioning in terms of when you can still sign players, you can still sign players till March, which is the deadline to when you can, stop signing players, I believe, because the playoffs are starting around that time. So I know that, but you're killing a guy for missing a shot, but don't forget others. Okay, Andy, I think you're talking to someone else there. I'm so proud to Raptors 2021 draft, says Usman. Yes, I really like the draft pick. And the second round draft picks are really intriguing too, guys. I know I went off on that video, but having done a little bit more research and looking at what they could bring to the Raptors, I really like them. I think they can be great. Trade deadline is until Feb, says Serge. Yes. Look up championship run and season. Okay. Model X says Serge. Suggs is better. I'm assuming you're talking about being better than Barnes. If there's some trades, Van Vliet, Flynn, Gary, Baines, and Boucher at the 5. Baines, I'm assuming you said Barnes at the 3. All right, guys, I finally made it to the bottom. All right, so OG or Trent have to become our go-to closer. We lost so many games in the clutch last season. I don't trust Siakam late in the game, says Monroe Singh. Here's the thing. I don't trust him either. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I really like Siakam. I think you have to be flexible in giving other guys a chance. Siakam is really nice. I really do like him. And he's hit a lot of clutch shots. I'm not saying he's not clutch, but if Siakam is continuously missing, I think give it to someone like Gary Trent Jr. I think that works well. Give others an option like Gary Trent or OG Anunoby. I agree with your point there. Centers is what the Raptors need. Centers over everything, Phil. I absolutely agree. And you don't need another forward. Okay, Lowry got traded. Wait, you're joking, right? Laserbot says Lowry got traded for Nickeil Alexander. Oh, just kidding. Okay. I was like, what? What kind of trade? What kind of trade is that? We need a forward off the bench. We do. Well, Scotty Barnes could be the guy because you could play him power forward, small forward, point guard position. So I feel like he'd be nice. Galactic is asking chances we signed Kawhi. He opted out. Very slim chance, unfortunately. I'd love to have him on the Raptors again. I just don't see it, though. I think the Raptors are definitely not close to a contending team yet. And I think he's probably going to re-sign with the Clippers. What Philly wanted for Simmons was insulting. Glad your jury said no, absolutely, Serge. That was ridiculous. And that wasn't the only trade offer. We have to remember that Warriors, they asked the Warriors for 4 future first-round picks. This year's 2 picks, and they asked him for Wiseman and I believe Andrew Wiggins. It's something along the lines of that. I know I'm getting the amount of picks mixed up, but they were asking for something crazy like that. Obviously, Golden State turned him down. What can Philly get out of Simmons? I don't know, David. I believe his value has gone low, man. I don't think his value is very high right now. They've been trying to rip off everyone in the league, and everyone in the league is saying, no, we're not trading for Simmons. So they should trade Siakam for Jarret Allen and for some other bench pieces, then trade Lowry for Hero and Robinson, and maybe, just maybe, sneak in Dragic, says Kobe. I don't know. I'm not trading Siakam for Jarret Allen personally. I think Siakam, for all the hate he gets, he still has a lot of potential. I do really like Siakam. All right, I finally caught up to the comment section. It looks like the chat is dying down. The viewers are going down, guys. If you do have any other comments, do let me know. Make sure to hit the subscribe button if you guys are new here. Get a lot of Raptors content on here in the future. I'll be looking to add more NBA content. Should Philly send Simmons to the G League? That's not going to happen. Simmons has got too much of an ego. He would want out of the Phillies 76ers right away. Should the Raptors be crazy and do 3 future first round picks and Van Vliet for Shea, as OKC is all on picks? Maybe. I don't know if OKC does that. That is quite a bit, but I don't see them taking that. Barnes is going to help against Tatum and Brown. Some people, I absolutely agree. He is the ultimate defender who can guard guys like Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. And give him a year or two, he's going to add a lot more muscle. He's already 227, 225 pounds. He's going to add in 5-10 pounds of muscles over the next few years. He can guard potentially Giannis. So I'm glad we chose Barnes, or else Trent would have had less minutes and shots. Monroe's, that's what I was saying. It's going to complicate the hell out of things if we drafted Suggs, because we have Gary Trent Jr. We have we have to re-sign it, but we had Fred VanVleet. We have Malachi Flynn. So like, where do you put Suggs, or where do you put Gary Trent Jr. off the bench? The Minecrafter, I have a question. Why is there rumors? Because the free agency starts tomorrow, so you could do sign and trades. Who are the Heat getting in free agency? Asking Justin. I don't know, man. They got $19 million. They have options. There have been rumors about DeMar DeRozan going there. They want to reunite both him and Kyle Lowry. Realistically, if we were to trade for Simmons, what would you offer? Simmons, I would probably want an all-star back and at least a future first-round pick and a young player. The 76ers are just gone berserk. They're asking for too much. Phil Gaps is saying, thank you for doing this, friends. Phil, thank you for being here. I really appreciate all of you guys being here. It means a lot to me. And also, guys, if you want to give this video a thumbs up, it helps reach more basketball fans like yourself. It'll help get this live stream going out there. And also, guys, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Follow me on Instagram, The Warriors Report. With what we're offering for Lillard, I don't see why the Knicks remain the favorites to sign him. What, Serge, what are we offering for Lillard? Is it Pascal? I forget. I know there's some rumors, but I think the reason the Knicks can is because they have a lot of young players and picks. So, should the Raptors trade away Siakam for young prospects and potentially sign Kawhi? Asked Devin. Devin, here's the thing: if you trade Pascal Siakam, he's proven to be a number 2 option. So if you trade away Pascal Siakam for younger players, I don't think Kawhi comes back, because Kawhi wants to be a contender. And if we trade Pascal for younger players, we're further away from contending than we are today. So I don't see Kawhi coming back. Is Barnes' wingspan longer than Gasol? I'm assuming, Jack, you're asking about Marc Gasol and not Paul Gasol, but I think so. I don't think Marc Gasol has a long wingspan. He's a chubby guy with short arms, but I could be wrong. Wingspan. Oh, he's got quite a long wingspan, actually. 2.24. Let me convert meters to feet. I don't think Marc Gasol has a longer wingspan than Scotty Barnes, does he? .24. Oh, wow. Marc Gasol actually has a wingspan of 7.34. I had no idea. Holy crap. He looks like this chubby guy, and he's actually got pretty long arms, actually, when you think about it. I don't know what I was saying, chubby arms, but I didn't realize Marc Gasol had such a huge wingspan. DeRozan to the Lakers as Model X, absolutely. That's a possibility. I think there's a real good possibility that DeRozan goes to the Lakers. He's talked about taking less money. He's even talked to he's talked to LeBron James. So there's been rumors about Melo going to the Lakers. There's been rumor about DeMar. Maybe if DeMar goes there, maybe Kyle Lowry wants to go there. Who knows? There's also been Rudy Gay wants to go there. Scotty Barnes says he would like to guard Giannis or KD. I don't blame him. Giannis is all physical. KD is more finesse. He's more shooting. He'll pop and shoot over you. So KD is definitely harder to grab. I'm not sure why everyone likes Trent ass Raps at $17 million. Heck no. The Raps, here's the thing, though. You go off of potential. Gary Trent has shown some potential with the Raptors in the short amount of time, and I think he's only 22, 23 years old, so he'll fetch a nice price, unfortunately. I do think they should pay him less than $17 million, but it's just the market's going to command that much, just because a lot of players are making quite a bit of money. Am I tripping, or is that you, fan that won Hall of Famer as a fan for the Raptors? Am I tripping, or is that you, the fan that won? No, I didn't win any fan, Justin. If you're talking about Nav Butt, no, that's not me, man. We're the same religion. We both were We both wear a turban and have a beard, but no, no, man. I wish I was a Hall of Fame fan for the Raptors, but no. I was surprised to see Westbrook in LA. I was too. I was recording my live reaction in when during the NBA draft, and that happened. They announced a trade. What POS do you think? What position? Sorry, I thought you said what piece of shit. What position do you see Barnes starting at next season? So I see Barnes somewhere at the small forward, power forward, depending on the matchups. I definitely could see him center and small ball lineups at times, depending on the matchup. But like I said, I think most likely we'll play him small forward or power forward from the bench, because those are two positions we do need. But again, it depends on where Chris Boucher is playing as well, right? So. Do you have plans coming to Toronto this season? Michael, I would love to, man. COVID has screwed my plans up. I have yet to visit Toronto. I've been meaning to watch a Raptors game, but man, you guys are expensive as hell in terms of how much you charge per price. I was trying to come in the championship run that season when we got Kawhi Leonard, and the prices were insane, Michael. But yeah, I hope to come to Toronto. I am in school full time, and I only get 1 week break during Christmas. So it's going to be very hard, but I do want to come to Toronto. Hopefully COVID's gone by next year. Is this a Raptors channel or NBA channel? First time watching, asking Trappa B. Trappa B, this is a Raptors channel, man. We got Raptors stuff here, but hopefully in the future I can post more NBA content if we get more subscribers, if we get more viewers. I would love to expand the community to NBA viewers. News rumor, Gary Trent Jr. returning to Toronto for $50 million through 3 years. $16.6 million, says Supra 2K8. Is this any truth to this? Is this for real? Is Gary Trent Jr. actually returning? I'm gonna look this up. I don't know how much truth there is to this. I'm not saying you're lying, but I just want to make sure, is it a done deal or is it just rumors? Report. Oh, no, that's 5 days ago. He's expected to command 18 to 20 million. No, there's no reports. I could be wrong. I haven't seen any rumors. Our big three of wings with OG, Pascal, and Barnes is going to be great now and the future. Some people absolutely agree, man. It's going to be a menace on defense. It's insane how good these guys are. Nav, a legend. I agree, man. I agree. Someone really thought you were Nav, says Rafi. Yeah, man. I mean, he's like, 40 years older than me or something, but hey, man, it's all good. This is a copy and paste. Toronto Raptors acquired Damian Lillard. Trailblazers acquire OG Anunoby, Fred VanVleet, number overall pick, 2022, 2024. I think that was an order. Oh, Serge, I think that's an older article. I don't think that's happening, especially not the number 4, because that would be Scotty Barnes. Heater trying to get Lowry and DeRozan, says, sure, yeah, I agree. They are. It's going to be difficult and challenging to do that, but because they only have about 19 million in cap space, so they'd have to flip Goran Dragic for one of Lowry or DeMar. I was surprised to see Barnes play guard at FSU, says Michael. I agree. I'm surprised. He's a 6'9". You would think they'd use him more as a power forward, but hey, that's cool, man. He's worked on his ball handling skills and his passing ability, and that's an asset for the Raptors. So do you think OG can develop into a number 1 option on offense? Monroe's, here's the thing with OG. I think if he was on a really bad team where he got to take about 15, 20 shots a game, I think he gets more of a leash on that team than he does on the Raptors. I don't see him being a number 1 option. He has the potential, though. But I feel like with the Raptors, just how many players we have in terms of offensively, I just don't see him being a number 1 option on the Raptors, unfortunately, just because he doesn't get enough touches on offense. He doesn't get to work through those errors of his. What do you see Barnes ceiling as? Asked Mike. Barnes is a really nice player. I love him. I think Barnes could be a potential all-star one day. I definitely could see him being a defensive player of the year. So it depends on how he develops his offense, to be honest. Do you think the Raptors will sign Damian Lillard? Damian Lillard is under contract, so I don't see that happening unless we trade for him. It's free to watch it outside the arena. Jurassic Park, says David. David, I would love to visit Toronto, man. I would love to come to Jurassic Park, especially during playoffs, man. That's insane. I want to be there, but with the COVID and whatnot, it's hard, and I am in school full time, so it's really hard to do that. Porzingis for Lowry, and then Dallas has room for DeRozan. Patrick, I don't think the Raptors would do that. Porzingis is injury prone. He's got a lot of money he's making as well. I think you'd have to throw in more assets to entice the Raptors. It's rumors via Jake Fisher about Gary Trent Jr. 3 deal. He's the one that called. Oh, Jake Fisher. Wow. Let me check that out, guys. I'm just going to quickly check if Gary Trent Jr. has re-signed with the Raptors or not. Oh, and there's Miami Heat are expressing interest in Danny Green. Now, this is funny. Let's see. Jeff Green is reportedly a primary target for Boston. That makes sense. Oh, the 76ers are shopping Tobias Harris. Let's see here. Andre Drummond and Malik Monk are names to watch for Miami Heat. Really? They're known for their defense. Um, I gotta follow Jake Fisher on Twitter, guys. If you don't follow me on Twitter, if you guys want to follow me on Twitter, it's Warich Duh. So my the Warich, but it's the reverse. It's Warich Duh. Let's see. I gotta look up Jake Fisher. This is like 20 like Jake Fisher stuff coming. All right, guys. Let's see. That's hey, if that's a good deal for that's a great deal for Gary Trent Jr. 3 years, 16 million. That's amazing, man. If we are able to get that, Barnes is a great guy, energy guy, and likes to finish with power. Yeah, man. Barnes is amazing, dude. Ball handling. Um, about Jamal Murray, the Minecrafter. I'm guessing you're asking about the Raptors, Jamal Murray, if they could acquire him. It's going to be tough. I don't know how much we'd have to give up for Jamal Murray. It'd be quite a hefty price, I assume. But this one's saying they should wait to sign Gary Trent Jr. for cap purposes. Patrick, I agree. I absolutely agree because once that's the whole point of having a restricted free agent, but also because you have the ability to go over your cap space. So they should sign someone else and then sign Gary Trent Jr. But I don't think they want to wait just in case a team signs him to an enormous contract. What country, city are you currently speaking from? Ask Supra. That is, I am in Canada. I am in British Columbia, and I am speaking from close to Vancouver. I'll keep my location secret. I'm very close to the Lower Mainland. For those who may be familiar with British Columbia, what would we be able to afford Lonzo, Trent, and Allen? Says some people. I don't know. That's hard, man. Lonzo is expecting the same kind of money as Gary Trent, and we have about $33-ish million. I don't know about that. Is Jamal Murray playing next season? He's had an injury. I don't know. He's going to have to load manage and really be careful with that. But probably going to come back halfway through next season. It is a rough injury. Yes, Phil, I agree. It's a very tough injury, and I think it's gonna be one of those scenarios where you need to be patient with players. I like to I like a pure shooter on the team. JJ Redick could help with Fred VanVleet with leadership. You know what? JJ Redick would be nice. I really think he spaces the floor. David, I don't live in Burnaby. I would love to live there though. I really like Burnaby. No, I don't live in Burnaby. No, it's fairly close. You're just gonna keep guessing what city I live in now. Michael, I agree. JJ Redick would be nice, but the thing with the Raptors offense is just the way it's run. It's run through Pascal Siakam, Fred VanVleet, and I feel like we've seen this with Matt Thomas too. It's when we play them, guys for whatever reason don't like to pass to him. They're only going to give him one or two shots. I wish the Raptors moved the ball a little bit more. They played a little bit more team ball. And that would have been nice. That would be nice. Get more guys involved. Your offense it's too free flowing. I think Nurse allows his players to play that, but I don't know, man. It gets frustrating to watch as fans when you just see Pascal go ISO, then Fred VanVleet go ISO, and then Kyle Lowry running up and chucking those threes ISO. So JJ Buckets, what is up, my friend? I'd take Lonzo over Gary Trent Jr. any day if they could price New Orleans out of the equation. Fight me. I will, JJ. I'll fight you, man. I'm taking Gary Trent Jr. I do believe, though, guys. I really do believe Lonzo Ball has a really high ceiling. When I say this, I think like all-star potential. Some of the numbers he's putting up with New Orleans, I think he's missed out. He's really messed up because he kept playing with other point guards, much like how Fred VanVleet was playing with Lowry, but they complement each other's game. Lonzo Ball was playing with Eric Bledsoe, who's just messing up his game. So I really want a shooter that shoots from anywhere like Leonard, the Minecraft player. I would love that. That is why a lot of teams look for the shooting guard, small forward that can do that, the ability to hit clutch shots when you need it. Serge said, sorry, my connection lagged. What are your thoughts on our offer for Lillard? Serge, I wouldn't do that deal. OG, I believe the offer was Pascal, OG, and Fred. I wouldn't do that. That's way too much for Lillard unless you're getting more. I personally don't trade three of our best players for Lillard. I love Lillard, but you probably missed the Vancouver Grizzlies. Mike, I was not old enough for the Vancouver Grizzlies. I started watching when I actually started watching the Raptors a few days before Vince Carter got traded. And I remember hearing about Vince Carter. I was like, oh, who's this guy? I hadn't seen him then. And then there's like a lot of talk about Vince Carter being an amazing player and how he was just sitting out games. He wasn't dunking. So unfortunately, bad luck for me. I've been through a lot of rough years. That whole 2000s, the late 2000s to when we missed the playoffs and Chris Bosh left, and early 2010s as well. Yeah, that was a phony report, Phil. That wasn't a legit report. Could we trade Lowry without the other teams matching salaries? For instance, trade Lowry for Precious and KZ, sorry guys, I'm a little tired. KZ Alcapala. Definitely, some people be like, yeah, we could, because I thought we had to match salaries, and I could be wrong. You guys correct me on this one, but the thing with signing and trading, we saw who did we sign? We saw Pelicans. Actually, sign and trade may be different though, because we saw Pelicans and Grizzlies trade, and then they traded Eric Bledsoe and Adam. What's his face? Adam. Someone help me out here. What's Adam? What's the guy from the big man from Pelicans that was just traded to New Orleans, or not New Orleans? Excuse me, to the Grizzlies. I'm gonna have to look it up. My mind's just gone blank for a second here. Steven Adams. Sorry, Steven Adams is the player they traded. So they traded two big salaries for GV, and those salaries didn't match up. But that was because the Grizzlies, I believe, had Steven Adams. Thank you. I'm just thank you guys, Steven Adams. Yeah. So Steven Adams, they traded him and Eric Bledsoe for GV alone, and their salaries didn't match. But that also wasn't a sign and trade. So I don't know if in sign and trades you do have to match salaries, but if we could get just KZ Okapala and Precious, that would be amazing, man. That would be a nice deal. The Raptors might sign Malik Monk since Hornets let him enter unrestricted free agent. I'm going to look up Malik Monk because I don't know enough about him. I've heard his name a lot, but I've never really taken a look at his stats or what he's like. Like, does he, like, what position he plays? Let's take a look at his stats here, guys. Malik Monk, let's see here. He's 6'3", 210 pounds. Oh, man, that's already turning me off. 23 years old, though. He's 23 years old. Last season, he averaged 11 points, 2.4 rebounds, 2.1 assists, half a steal. Let's see his three-point percentage. That's what. Wow, 40% from the three? That's pretty good. That's not bad at all. Let's see his free throw percentage, 81%. Wow, I did not realize Malik Monk is that decent at shooting three-pointers. I like that. If you can get him for cheap, he could be a nice three-point shooter off of our bench. The only thing is he's 6'3", so I don't know. Like, do you play him besides Malachi Flynn? We're going to have a little undersized backcourt again, but yeah, A-Rob, I agree. He's very undersized, though. He's 6'3", so 205 pounds, so it's not like he's big, but yeah, his three-point percentage shocked me. I didn't realize he shot that well from the three. Raptors don't have a backup shooting guard. He would be cheap. That is true. I agree. He's a microwave for sure. Is he really? I haven't seen enough of the Hornets, honestly, outside of obviously LaMelo, who they keep showing a lot of highlights of. But imagine if Curry didn't get drafted by the Warriors as the Minecraft player. You know what? I remember when Curry got drafted. I was saying he's going to be a really nice player, and he got drafted behind Ricky Rubio, I believe. He had all those ankle injuries, and people were calling him a bust, but I was on the Curry bandwagon before it became cool. I knew he was going to be a really good player. I'm not going to lie. I didn't expect him to be the player he is today, but I definitely thought he was a really good player, and he had potential. So replacement, especially with Harris missing, yeah, Supra 2K8, I agree. He's really athletic, says Rob. Oh, that's good. I didn't know that. That's great. If we could get him for cheap, man, he'd be a nice shooting guard. He can shoot the three. What more do you want? And you know what? His free throw percentages are nice too. So he has the bunnies for sure. Awesome. Do you think David Johnson will crack our rotation as our bench shooting guard, or will we send him to the G League? I think just based off of what I've seen, again, I'm going strictly based off of his few highlights I've seen and his statistics. I just see him being more developed in our G League. I don't see him being a key rotation player on the Raptors roster next season. JJ Buckets is asking, Dinwiddie is a nice option for the sixth man if the price tag isn't too steep. JJ, I agree. The guy can create a shot. He can attack the rim. I mean, he's so underrated at getting to the basket and getting his points. He would be really nice if the Raptors do acquire him again. The big thing is the price tag, though. See you from Paris, bro. Keep pushing who you got to upgrade the Knicks roster. Hey, you're all the way from Paris. Yashin, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your name, but hey, appreciate you coming here. Who do I think the Knicks need to improve their roster? I think the Knicks need some three-point shooting. We know Randall attacks the basket. There's been some rumors about them wanting DeMar DeRozan. No, it wasn't DeMar DeRozan. It was someone else. Sorry, I'm mixing up. But there were rumors about them being involved in Damian Lillard. But I think they need some three-point shooting to surround Randall and RJ Barrett, because both of those guys aren't great three-point shooters. I could be wrong on RJ Barrett, though. Don't hold me to that. I think RJ Barrett might be a decent three-point shooter, but they need some shooters around him. So I think they need to surround him with better players for sure, and maybe get a better starting center. I don't know what they're doing with the other guy. Let me see. Who's that young player they have that keeps getting injured here? Knicks roster. Mitchell Robinson is the guy I'm thinking of. Yeah, Mitchell Robinson. I think I don't know what they're doing with him. He's got injuries, but I don't know. I think they need to sign some better players. Dinwiddie, actually, Jay just mentioned him, but I would actually like Dinwiddie on the Knicks. He would be nice for them too. He started he did with his father, Del Curry, man. It's amazing, that story, how he's shooting the threes at or whatever he's shooting as a young kid at the AC Center, or whatever they called him back then. What was the Raptors arena called in 90 whatever? Raptors name 1997, 98. I can't remember when he was a kid, but Sky Dome Maple Leafs. I don't know. I don't know if it was called that, but I started watching basketball in 03, so I could be wrong. I remember those days in 2004. VC seemed disinterested. I was in high school at that time and started following Nash until Raptors got the first pick in 2006. They made the playoffs, first division in 2000. I believe you're saying 9, not 2096. But yeah, Michael, I was like in grade 3, I believe, or something, grade 4 or 5. I can't remember at that time, but yeah. I remember those days. I remember reporters asking Vince Carter why he wasn't dunking anymore, and he came up with some lame excuse. It's funny because we love him so much now, and it's look, he put the Raptors on the map for sure. But who was your favorite player in the league? Asked Mike. My favorite player, that's a tough one, man. I really used to like DeMar DeRozan. It was sad how we saw him leave, but I really do like Pascal Siakam as well. I believe he's probably my favorite player at the moment. I don't watch him get traded as I say that. I don't care what people say. We should trade who we can to sign Lillard. Serge, I would agree. Lillard is really nice. I just think the asking price is so steep that we're gonna have to give up 2 of our 3 core pieces and future first round picks and assets in terms of Pascal, Fred, Gary Trent Jr. So then you trade for Lillard. Who do you have left? So like it's gonna be Lillard and what, Gary Trent Jr. It's we're not gonna surround him with a nice roster unless you sign Kawhi Leonard or something like that. But I don't see that happening. Then we'll have no one left to play with. Yeah, if we trade him, exactly. Some people think Mitchell Robinson. Am I saying your name right? Is it Yashin or Yasin? Mitchell Robinson. Yeah, he's a nice player, but I think they need to upgrade their roster in terms of having more veteran players. They have way too many young players. They need some scoring help, and they definitely could surround themselves with a little bit better players. I think Randall and RJ Barrett are very nice pieces. They should definitely bring back Rose too. Derek Rose would be nice. Okay. Played. Yeah, Sky Dome. Sorry, that's what it was called. Sky Dome. Or ACC Center. Yeah, it was something like that. I feel like our team is great. It is a perfect combination of veteran defense, height, length, as well as young core. Some people think I am dead on with you there. I absolutely agree. I think it's so people keep talking about trading Pascal Siakam and blowing it up. Well, why would we? Our young players, 2 young players off our core are 27 years old. Give them a chance. They're going to grow. For those of you guys watching Raptors since, several years, Kyle Lowry struggled so bad in the playoffs. Like at one point, he was the worst. He had the worst percentage for I believe minimum. I can't remember 20 games, 30 games in the playoffs. But at one point, him and DeMar DeRozan were some of the worst shooting players in playoff history in the NBA. So he's had a lot of tough goals too. And that's why he is who he is today, because you go through the struggles and you make yourself a much better player. So I agree. There's no reason to blow up our team. Let them grow together. Eric Hanna and Mike. Thank you, Michael or Mikhail. Sorry. Yeah, should the Raptors pick up Matt Thomas? He was released today, David. I don't know. I would like it, but his defense isn't great, and Nick Nurse doesn't like playing him. So, who's your most scary rookie in the draft without the top 3? To me, Scotty Barnes would be a monster in Toronto. I think you know what? I covered 5 players the Raptors should draft about 2.5 months ago. I included Barnes on there, but I'm not saying he's not scary, but in terms of who I think may just be one of those players that no one expected. Call me crazy. I think James Bouknight might be the scariest rookie in this year's NBA draft outside of the top 3. The guy he had some of the best shooting percentages when they were doing those drills. So I think he'd be really nice. He has the potential to be a really nice player at the NBA level. If he can get his 3-point shot, though. He's struggled with that, though. Okay, so Kawhi Leonard to decline his player option, and yes, Supra 2K, yeah, he did decline his option. I think he's going to sign the max deal with the Clippers, or maybe he just goes and surprises the entire league again and pulls off something crazy. So Phil is asking, Portland trades Dame to the Raptors for OG Fred, 4th overall pick, which was Scotty Barnes. Raptors 2024, 2022, 2024, 2026 first round picks. And you think that's not a garbage proposal? I do think that's a garbage proposal, Phil. If you're asking me, yes, I would not do that. I would not do that. You think that's not a garbage proposal? Yes, that is a garbage proposal. I wouldn't do that. That's way too much for Damian, and he's 31 years old. So You have to surround him with better pieces. If we did trade for Damian, it's like, there's not much left for him to work with on Toronto. Yes. So, damn, feel bad for Matt. At least Raptors got a second-round pick. I know. And people, speaking of Kawhi, he had stayed. Had we signed Paul George, however, OKC wanted Lowry, Fred VanVleet, OG, Siakam, and 4 first-round picks. Another easy no from Masai. Yeah, Serge, they wanted something crazy like that. That's a no-brainer. And they were just using us as leverage because they wanted the Clippers to give up a lot for Paul George. Don't think Raptors will trade Barnes. Masai looking for that giant type of player. Agreed. Spicy piece so underrated. I absolutely agree. Lowry staying. He's not going anymore. Roulette, is that confirmed or is that just you saying that? No first. They had a makeshift court on the basketball and then they moved into. Okay, gotcha, Rob. Okay. Watch. Patrick's asking, Riker and Ben just agreed with the Lowry for Porzingis. Are they online as well? I love the Raptors Digest. I love watching all the Raptors channels. I don't know. Personally, I don't do that trade, but hey, man, it just depends. Everyone's got a different view of what they would do. And personally, I don't know. I don't know if I do that one, but oh yeah, they're live right now too. That's what I'm losing views. No, just kidding. No, they're awesome, man. I love Raptors Digest. They're pretty awesome too. Okay, so Book Knight reminds me of a Lou Will. Michael, I agree. He is a beast, man, in terms of scoring. He's a 3-level scorer if he can get that 3-point shot going. I hope Siakam been working hard this offseason. I hope Siakam's been working hard this offseason. We need him to be our number one option and be able to make game winners and close. I hope so too. We really need Pascal to be that guy. We can pick up Matt Thomas and trade for another second-round pick, says David. You know what? That's a real possibility. Maybe we make Matt Thomas look real nice. So, excuse me. JJ Buckets is asking if you could add either prime VC or CB to our current core. Ooh, who do you see them going further with? That's tricky because I feel like we can potentially, just the way the NBA is played right now, we can play Chris Bosh at the center position, have him there, and then Vince Carter, he would be really nice. So he's obviously better than Chris Bosh, but that's tricky, man. Maybe sign and trade Gary Trent Jr. for center and then have Vince Carter as our shooting guard. Oh yeah, that either way, I don't think you can go wrong, JJ. That's deadly, man. That's a deadly. Okay, so let's see. So Phil is asking, sorry, I wasn't asking. I was saying that was a BS proposal and directing that as Serge because he somehow thought that was okay. Woj Ben Simmons to Orlando? What? Is this a joke? Ben Simmons to Orlando? Serge, or who's saying this? Pierre, is this for real or? No way. This trade didn't just happen. You're kidding, right? No. You guys are scaring me here, man. I was like, what? That really happened? No, I don't see anything unless there's rumors on Twitter, but let me see here. I don't think that's happening, guys. Let's look at Woj. He's probably gonna report it first. Yeah, there's nothing, man, guys. You give me a heart attack for no reason here. Okay, Porzingis is slow, injury prone. I agree. He is. Shame on those who left just now. That's okay, Raps. It's okay, man. We all like our different channels, and they've been here for a while, so it's okay if you guys want to go. It doesn't bother me. If Barnes can develop a decent jump shot, it's over. Absolutely, Serge. He's a beast, man. He's a beast on defense. All he really needs is that shot, and I don't think that should be an issue for him. We've seen Pascal develop a shot too, so it's so crazy. CP declined 40. Yeah, I agree, 44 million, but I think it's because he wants that larger contract. He wants the long-term security, right? So it's crazy. Anyone would turn down 44 million, but yeah. Siakam is rehabbing an injury to his non-shooting shoulder. Okay, so it's not his shooting shoulder. That's good. Barnes doesn't have a broken jump shot. I think the Raptors can develop him well, says Roulette. I agree. I definitely think they can. The most frustrating part last year was when Pascal had a great game overall, would score 30 points, but at the end, he would overthink and mess up, and then his perfect... You know what? That's the thing. Some people... This is the thing with basketball a lot of people don't realize. We have seen greats, and I'm not comparing Pascal Siakam to the greats. We have seen great players like LeBron James struggle with his mental game in NBA Finals. We've seen him in NBA playoffs when he struggled at times, or the Celtics. They built that wall in 2008, 9, whatever it was, against the Cavs. So I think that the mental aspect of the game is huge, and that's something you definitely need to work on as well. So we saw that with DeMar DeRozan as well, so it sucks, but I think if you can get that out of the way, absolutely. Hornets going to be fun to watch with. Yeah, I agree, man. Hornets are going to be one of the nicest teams, man. Nicest young team in the league. They got Kai Jones. They got Book Knight. I believe I could be wrong. I know they got someone else in the draft, I think. And yeah, obviously they've got Ball as well. So is Bain still on the team? He is. He's here till Tuesday, I believe. So 2 days from now, then they can decide if they want to decline his and Hood's option or if they want to include him in a trade. The next trade suggestion for Simmons still has him joining We the North. I don't see that happening. I don't see him joining the Raptors anymore either, especially with Scotty Barnes. Also, Scotty Barnes is the first freshman drafted by the Raptors. Oh, since Bruno Caboclo. I did not know that. That's good to know. I want Baines gone. I do too. I think everyone does. I think his player option will be declined if we don't include him in a trade. Yes, you're okay. Kyle Lowry and something to the Pelicans for Valanciunas. That would be nice. Here's the thing with Valanciunas, guys. The reason we got rid of Valanciunas was because he was slow-footed on defense. So anytime pick and rolls happen, a lot of Raptors fans, I remember complaining at that time that, you know what? Oh, he's slow-footed. He's not doing this. He can't guard, pick and roll. But that is one of the main reasons we traded him from Marc Gasol, because of his defense. So if we do trade him, he's a great rebounder. Obviously, he can score points, but just how the Raptors style of play is, which is very up fast tempo. That's the issue with JV. He's not that type of center that can fit in and be that guy. So. Do you follow back on Twitter? Yeah, absolutely. I will, man. If you guys want me to follow back, I don't know if that's a thing, but yeah, I'll absolutely follow you back, Michael. My Twitter is Warish Duh. I don't know why I guess the Warish, they didn't want to make it the Warish report, but it's literally whatever in the Warish and then the, but yeah, I'll follow you guys back. Absolutely. If you guys are following me. Barnes is the best positionless prospect this year. He can also rebound, but not showing up on the stats because he is the perimeters most of the time. Yeah, that's the thing with Barnes. His stats, one thing people don't realize, his rebounding numbers are down and his blocks too, because he was guarding point guards on the 3-point line. So he wasn't in the paint a lot. And, he's obviously the rebounds are going mostly there. So that is that's a very good point there. I have a feeling that Siakam's shoulder injury was the secret reason why he struggled in the bubble. Some people be like, excuse me, the reason I think he struggled was because he talked about it. He talked about the fact that for 4 months or whatever that break was with COVID, he said not the Raptors. He was stuck indoors and he didn't have the opportunity to practice at all. Now, ultimately, look, I'm not trying to blame Siakam. He did have the option to work out because he was stuck indoors, but we saw Serge Ibaka doing indoor workouts just to maintain his fitness. So he definitely could have done that. But I know he was in Toronto. Some people have mentioned, I don't know how much truth there is to that, but he didn't get to work out. He didn't get any basketball drills. So they came back, and yeah, you could see that for other players as well. But I think it contributed to the fact that he's only been playing basketball since he was 16 years old. So that's why it takes time to get back. Anyone who's played basketball, it takes time to get back into, your rhythms, your shooting, your dribbling. So that's why. He hurt his shoulder near the end. Yeah. Love the channel, my man. 66 take that. I love you, man. Thank you for your support. I appreciate that. I want to see more Paul Watson next season too. I agree. I feel like we should have seen him more this season. And we can play him at the shooting guard position because he's 6'6". He's not too big to play a shooting guard, but he's a great size to be playing at the shooting guard position. So yeah, I absolutely agree. I think the Celtics ruined his confidence. Possibly. Hey, guys, we discredit the Boston Celtics defense. Every time he went into the paint, he was getting double teamed, and Jaylen Brown is a really underrated defender. He doesn't get enough credit for his defense. The guy's a beast on defense, man. And they were double teaming him, and also they put him in positions where they knew he wasn't comfortable. They had him dribbling and had someone like a Marcus Smart guarding him. They know Marcus Smart is great at getting steals. So yeah, that the Celtics did ruin a little bit of his confidence as well. I agree. Kyle Lowry and something to the Grizzlies for Dillon Brooks. Dillon Brooks would be nice. I don't know about Steven Adams. I actually talked about this before the rumors about Pelicans being interested in Lowry came out, but he would be nice. Dillon Brooks, I would love. Steven Adams has got a huge contract, so unless they throw a future first round pick, I would. But personally, I would do it for Dillon Brooks, not for Steven Adams. No, but I watched him crank at the end of the last season. I'm pretty sure that's when it was hurt. Yeah, I think his shoulder, Siakam's shoulder, his non-shooting shoulder, I'm guessing is his left. Obviously, he's right-handed. So, yeah, I think he did hurt it at the end of the year. We didn't see much. Hey man, just wanted to say thanks in streaming for this and answering questions. You're a good guy and a very open-minded fan. Also, you jury traded JV because he had an inconsistent turnaround hook shot. That's definitely a possibility. Hey Serge, I appreciate you being here, man. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me. I do appreciate everyone being here. Hoping Siakam bulks up a little bit so we can have him at center with OG and Barnes as forwards. Sure, here's the thing. When COVID happened, Siakam actually lost a lot of weight. He lost about 15 or 20 pounds, he said. And he said he was actually a lot quicker in terms of how he's moving on the court and his offense and his defense. So he said he may just lean down or stay at that weight because they allowed him to move a little bit better on defense and on offense. So, but yeah, Siakam would be nice at the center. I just don't actually see OG as a better fit in the center position. I don't know why Siakam I don't see his strength as the same as OG. So Malachi Flynn did get bigger. Yeah, we will hopefully see more of him. Nurse needs to play him a lot more. I was disappointed about the minutes he got. He definitely needed some more minutes. I was so surprised to see Baines not fit well with our team last season. The season prior, he was having numbers great. He was having a great season with the Suns. I remember the one game where he recorded. I remember that too. I remember watching the highlights. He was absolutely insane, man. Some people be like, "Hey, I agree, man. You've been giving some good comments and thoughts here. I absolutely agree." Baines, the previous season when he was with the Suns, he was an absolute beast. The guy was putting up 15, 20 points like it's nothing. He's hitting those 3-pointers. I just think not having a training camp, first of all, really hurt the Raptors. Not only Aaron Baines, but also Malachi Flynn, not having that training camp last season, just coming in and pretty much just starting the season. I think that really hurt them. We had a 3-day training camp, I believe, so I didn't give enough time to the roster to kind of mesh together. I think that really did hurt them. What did the C's do to the wall play that we did to Giannis? Wait, did the C's do the wall play that we did to Giannis into? No, the C's, what they did with Siakam, here's the thing. When we faced the Celtics in the playoffs, what they did to Siakam was they guarded him man-to-man, but Siakam's game was turnaround. We know he does those spin moves. So every time he was ready to turn around, there'd be a defender right there, and that's why he would get stripped of the ball. His ball handling skills weren't the greatest at that time either. That is one of the things. He kept losing the ball because he talked about not being able to play basketball for 4 months, and him obviously starting to play basketball at 17 years old really obviously hurt him because he's not been playing basketball as long as some of the other guys. So getting into rhythm, it took him a little bit longer. So that's what they would keep doing, and they dared him. They dared him to play a face-up game and dribble. They knew he was really struggling with the dribbling game at that time, and what they did was they got Marcus Smart or Jaylen Brown to guard him, who are quicker defenders. So even if Siakam gets past them, they have that quick step to get to the ball and really steal the ball and just mess up his offense. So I think they played him really physical and they did a good job against Siakam. Is Siakam and Nurse relationship overblown and not being paid enough attention? Michael, I think it's being overblown. It's typical media. I think it's just players being competitive and going back at each other. Nurse is a very competitive coach too. People need to realize that Nurse is a hell of a coach, and he's in there. He's as intense as any other coach out there. You see him doing those little squats. We saw him do that, and he was stressed last season when the Raptors weren't playing well. So I think when you're losing, anyone who's played sports, when you're competitive, you're losing, you're going to get into the faces of each other. That happens. So I think it's just typical media just being, going a little bit crazy. Lowry to the Heat, Precious, and assets to Pacers, Turners to the Raptors. Mohammed, is that for real? Or is that just a suggestion by you? Because that would be unreal if that did happen. That would be, let's see, I got Woj on my Twitter just in case I need to refresh. But no, that would be something if the Raptors were able to get. I really like Shams too. I like Shams. Yeah, there's no update about anything like that, but yeah. That would be amazing if the Raptors did get that trade done, though. Nurse new pet is Barnes. Siakam is going to be traded. I really like Barnes. I don't know if Siakam is going to get traded. I don't know how much truth there is to those rumors, to be honest, but I really do like Siakam. I hope he doesn't get traded because that would mean a rebuild unless we're getting someone better than Siakam in terms of scoring and defense. So no way OG could realistically play center. Even LeBron, yeah, I absolutely agree. I don't think you can't play OG the entire season at the center position. You're going to wear him out. It takes a lot out of players. You can see him physically just really drained out there when you're playing him against centers, even though he can hold his own. Isaiah Jackson? Yeah, or someone. Isaiah Jackson. That's the guy someone drafted this year, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, Mohammed. Should the Raptors trade for Kemba? No, he's making a lot of money. Kemba, we don't like Phil said, we don't need any guards. I just don't see him being a good fit on the Raptors. We're gonna have a shorter backcourt than we did last season because Lowry's a beast on defense and Kemba's not the same on defense. So why did Nick Nurse play Fred when he was sick or had COVID this year? I don't think he did. The Minecraft player, I don't think he did, or unless they were unaware of him having COVID symptoms, but I don't know why Nick Nurse really ran those guys into the floor, man. He was playing those guys heavy minutes this season. He was playing them 35, 40 minutes every single game, back-to-back games. He was playing our starters 39 minutes, and that was because we didn't have a lot of scoring off the bench. That is why, because our bench was just not providing anything. That is why. All right, so let's see here. We run small ball with the OG, yeah. You think Raps passing on Charles Bassey and Sharif Cooper in the second? Mike, I actually had a rant where I went off on the players we selected. Obviously, a lot of people were disagreed with me, which is fine. I don't know enough about Sharif Cooper. I know he put up a lot of nice stats, but he's a 6-foot point guard, I believe. I could be incorrect, Mike, but I believe he's a 6-foot point guard. So I don't know if the Raptors wanted that. I think they wanted to go with more length. Charles Bassey would have been nice, though. I believe he's a center. So yeah, I was a little bit disappointed they didn't draft him. There's some really nice players still on the board when the Raptors had those 2 picks as well. So Fred can play point guard. Not as good as Lowry. Malachi is a point guard. I mean, we need a center more than anything. Phil, I agree. The thing is, Fred, I believe, can play point guard. He's not a natural point guard. That's the thing. I feel like his natural position should be shooting guard. But in terms of Fred, I think you need to let him run the point guard just for one season at the very least. Let's see here. Sharif Cooper is too short for the Raptors. Yeah, sure. I agree. He's, like I said, I believe he's 6 foot. So I don't know if the Raptors wanted more short players. They've realized this short backcourt is not working well. It's not a good combination. They're transitioning into players that have more length and that can play the guard position. That, we drafted the Canadian kid and we drafted Scotty Barnes as well. They're both at 6'9". They can both handle point guard position. So absolutely. What are the chances Masai will come back? What's taking so long to re-sign? David, I'm honestly worried about Masai Ujiri, man. This reminds me of that Kawhi scenario where we waited, and then, bam, he was gone. I honestly hope Masai Ujiri does not leave. I'm getting a weird feeling he may just leave into something because I feel like if he wanted to return, he would have returned by now. I really do hope I'm wrong, though. I really want Masai Ujiri to come back. But, yeah. Why did they get rid of Alexander and not even replace him? I'm tired of being cool. Sorry, excuse me. That is your name. I'm tired of being cool. Tired of being cool. I don't know why they did not replace him. I think they felt like at that time when they waived Alexander, which was so early into the season, I felt like they're either looking to trade like a 1 for 2 or maybe sign someone off of, like the free agency pool who is still available. But I wondered the same thing, why they didn't replace him. I felt like that really hurt the Raptors team. Yeah, some people. Yeah, we have Paul Watson who can play the 2. I'd like him to play the 2, actually. Raptors should somehow get CP3. He's going to cost a lot, though. Why 3B? He's going to cost a lot. He's looking for 3-year, $90 million, I believe. Or $100 million. He's wanting something crazy, man. Like in terms of money, I don't know if the Raptors could afford him. If they do, we're tied up already. Like we have $33 million. Do we really want to spend that much money on just one player, especially a position we don't really need? So he's a great player, don't get me wrong. But personally, I don't know if I'd do that. Yeah, I agree. Don't get me wrong. I think Fred is just going to continue to improve at the 1, get the hang of it, and improve his general skills. Phil, I absolutely agree. I think he should do that as well. Yeah, Delano Banton, Rex still represent. Toronto man. Yeah, Mike, I agree. I'm not worried about Masai staying. He's already said he doesn't want to leave Toronto, and this was last year. Yeah, that's true. Let's see what happens. JJ Buckets, I agree. He's fine, but he needs a more natural playmaker in the lineup next to him. That's where I actually really like the addition of Barnes to complement. Yeah, JJ, I agree. I think having someone like Scotty Barnes being able to handle the ball, and Fred can catch and shoot threes. We need to remember that as well. So having someone play, like JJ Buckets has mentioned here, have someone play the point guard position, have a ball handler next to him would be really nice. Have I ever seen Gary Trent Jr.'s monster screen versus the Cavs? Or when he was with the Raptors? Yeah, I remember. Wasn't that the time he scored 42, 43 points, something crazy like that? I remember that game. That was insane. Fred is our new leader. Hey, man, you guys, everyone wants to keep treating Pascal and Fred. You don't realize these guys are doing a great job of leadership. Kyle Lowry is going, and these guys are going to be next in line in terms of leadership. When Malachi Flynn, if you guys recall next season, for those who were watching a lot last season, Malachi Flynn, Jaylen Harris were sent down to the G League, and Pascal Siakam, Norman Powell, and Fred VanVleet all talked to these guys before they went down, and they encouraged them. They motivated them that, you know what, this isn't a sign of you guys being demoted. This is just something you guys could work on while you're down there. Work on your skills. So they were really motivating these guys. They were really talking to the young guys. So Fred is an absolute leader. I agree. Hey, my first live here. Kawhi Leopard. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate all the support, you guys. Thank you for being here. I really do appreciate all you guys here, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Lowry for Kendrick Nunn, a Chihuahua, and a first-round pick. Is that good? Kendrick Nunn is a restricted free agent, so he's going to command quite a bit too. The only issue with Kendrick Nunn is if you acquire him, like you're going to have him and Malachi off of your bench. I don't see Kendrick Nunn as a starter on the Raptors, so that is a nice return. But again, that's the only issue I have. Why wouldn't you just keep Lowry for? Yeah, I agree, Phil. No, Michael, I totally agree. Alexander was garbage. I just feel like we should have gotten another big man, But they literally was having Aaron Baines for several months as the only big man. And that really screwed it up because we tried to play Chris Boucher at the center position, and that wasn't working out. So it's also why I love the idea of Lonzo, says JJ Buckets. His playmaking defensive versatility is fantastic. It definitely helps that he's added a good 3-point ball. I will die on. Yeah, JJ, you're absolutely bang on, man. I don't think people realize how good Lonzo Ball is. Let him go to a different team where he's the main point guard and watch him put like 28 assists and like 6 rebounds or something crazy like that with a nice shooting percentage and also provide some good defense and steals, man. I can see him being an all-star as long as he's not out west because they've got so many guards like all-stars there. So he's super underrated, man. In terms of his versatility, his 3-point shot is looking good. So I agree, JJ. That's a good point. Lowry's on the best floor generals and leaders. Phil, man, that can't be talked about enough. His leadership, his how you notice when he's on the floor. It's not just the fact that he's putting up stats. He's taking charges as well. He's telling players where to be. You'll notice, pay attention to players when they're off ball. You'll notice players direct other players to go to certain positions, go there. Serge Ibaka did a really good job of that too when he was with the Raptors. So yeah, I agree. Kyle Lowry is amazing at doing that. Jarret Allen would be the perfect for the Raptors, man. He would be amazing for the right price. Absolutely, Chris. I agree. Barnes is going to do wonders for team chemistry. He is. I really like Barnes. I hope he does well. His defense is super underrated, guys. Believe me when I say this, I'm not just overhyping him because the Raptors drafted him. I've covered him several months ago. His defense may just even be better than Pascal, and that's saying something. Pascal is a really good defender, so he may be one of the better defenders on the team already, besides maybe OG. So, Baines is going to do Barnes, excuse me. Would Duncan Robinson instead of Nunn work? Duncan Robinson is nice. The only issue with acquiring some of these guys is a lot of them are free agents or restricted free agents, so you're going to have to pay them good money. Reportedly, Duncan Robinson wanted somewhere in the 15 to 20 million range, I believe, when the season ended. So that's the only issue with acquiring Duncan Robinson. I feel like if you do acquire him, do you really want to pay someone like Duncan Robinson that much money just for shooting threes? Because he's not a good defender. He's not a great rebounder. He can't pass. He's not a great passer. So that's his strength. He's a good 3-point shooter, and that's it. So I don't know if I'd want to be paying that much. Is Barnes 6'7" without shoes? Yeah, he is. He's around that. Some sites have him listed. Fluff 9. They have him listed at 6'6", 6'7" without shoes. With shoes, he's 6. A lot of different sites have him listed differently. So it's hard to kind of say where he is. But yeah, he's around that mark. If Trent decides to stay, do you see Nurse starting him over OG? OG's the 3 surge. I think it's going to be Fred VanVleet, have Gary Trent Jr. at the 2 position, and have OG at the 3, Pascal at the 4. And that's why a lot of people have been saying we need a real center, starting center. Jarret Allen for 25 million for 4 years. Pranav, I think, unfortunately, that may just be what we have to pay him. The Cleveland Cavaliers don't have very much cap space, so it's not like they can just go out and replace Jarret Allen. And it doesn't help that the free agent market for big men isn't the greatest. So I definitely think we'll have to overpay for Jarret Allen, or unless we're doing a sign-and trade, even then, it's going to be really complicated as to who we would give the Cleveland Cavaliers that they would actually be willing to give up Jarret Allen for. Barnes and Keldon Johnson. I haven't seen enough of Keldon Johnson, but those are interesting takes. I'll look up a little bit more of that. Hey, tired of being cool. Thank you for doing this, man. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate you guys being here. If you guys want to give this video a thumbs up, that'd be amazing. It helps the live reach out more people. Barnes just turned 20. Yeah, he's got a lot of growing to do, Phil. He's think of this for a moment. Barnes, he's already 6'7", 6'8". He's not done growing. People don't stop growing well into their 20s. So imagine him growing another 2-3 inches. He's going to be potentially 6'10", 6'11", ball handling skills. He can guard multiple positions. He's going to be scary, man. He's going to be scary. He's going to be scary and let his offense develop as well. Do you know Nick Nurse likes to run plays for 3-pointers? I don't know what Nick Nurse likes to play. He plays a lot of ISO and free-flowing offense from what I've seen. The Minecraft player. the way he plays offense is so hard to predict because I feel like it would have been really nice for the Raptors to play a little bit more team ball, have the ball moving more because when you see certain teams playing that way, you see a lot more ball movement. You see a lot of guys being involved in offense, which helps them get their offense going. With the Raptors, you see Pascal going ISO. You see Fred VanVleet going ISO. Then you have Gary Trent Jr. who's going to go ISO. And then OG needs the ball as well. So I feel like you need a little bit more passing. It makes the defenders work hard too. It makes them run around. It exhausts them more. So I definitely want the Raptors to play a little bit more team ball. So Raptors been scouting Barnes, since high school. There were rumors about Suggs didn't have a good workout with the Raptors. Mike, I talked about this earlier when I don't know if you were here. Apparently, there are rumors that someone talked about this. I saw this on Reddit. I can show you guys on Instagram if you guys want to follow me. It's the Warriors Report on Instagram. But I found this post online where someone was messaging someone. The names were covered. They talked about how Suggs came in for a workout with the Raptors, and he was so bad. He was missing all of his shots. He was the worst player out of the 8 or 9 players they worked out, and the Raptors actually had to end the workout early with Suggs because that's how bad he was doing. He was having a breakdown, I think. He was saying something like that. So they had him come in and work out the next day. He had a similar workout. So that is why a lot of people are saying has not had good workouts with him. And yeah, Scotty Barnes, they've been scouting him for some time now. So followed on Twitter. Michael, appreciate that. If you guys want to follow me on Instagram and Twitter, that'd be amazing. If you guys are new here, if you guys want to hit the subscribe button, that would be amazing. I do post a lot of Raptors content. It's crazy to think Allen was traded. Yeah, well, he was involved in the Jarret Allen's trade, so I wouldn't say for nothing. But yeah, in terms of like what Cleveland gave up to get him, that was insane, man. I felt like the Raptors should definitely have tried to acquire Jarret Allen. They gave up with that French guy. I can't recall his name. They gave up and like a second-round pick or something like that. So what's wrong with either Boucher or Birch starting at the 5 until Masai signs to the right player? There's absolutely Serge. There's nothing wrong with Boucher is a little bit underweight. That's the issue I have with him. He stretches the floor, which is great, but he is super underweight. He's like 210 pounds. So 6'9". So I don't know. He can't hold his own against even most power forwards. So I think his natural position is more power forward. Birch is really nice, but he's 6'8", 6'9". So we saw that late matchup in the season where Washington was playing the Raptors, and we had what was it? We had Lopez, one of the Lopez brothers, Robin Lopez, going off of the Raptors. He scored 20 points, and he's not known for his offense because Cam Birch wasn't big enough. We tried playing Freddie Gillespie. We got torched in the paint by Robin Lopez. So that is why I think they're looking to sign a bigger center. So Barnes has a frame where you can easily add. Oh yeah, I think so. Scotty Barnes looks like he can add a little bit more muscle. He's already 225 pounds. So yeah, if he adds in that, he's going to be a problem in this league. JJ Buckets, Nurse needs an offensive-minded assistant. I agree. I thought they really missed Nate this. Yeah, I agree. I think they're bringing Nate back if they haven't already. I could be wrong on that, but they do really need to bring Nate back. He was great for us. I saw the Raptors Digest mention Kelly Olynyk. Do you think he could be a good fit? My dad left is asking me that, so that's a funny username, by the way, but I hope that's not really the case. But I don't know. Here's the thing with Kelly Olynyk. The thing with a lot of NBA players, we don't realize they're so talented. They could put really good statistics up on bad teams. So Kelly Olynyk could look like an all-star on the Houston Rockets, but put him on the Raptors, he will put up maybe half of that, not even. That's the issue I have with Kelly Olynyk. And he's 6'9" or 6'10", I believe. So I would really like the Raptors to get a 7-foot center. It gives a lot of height, and it would be nice for the Raptors to have that. And also, he does shoot the three, though. That is something we do need to keep in mind, but his defense isn't the greatest. All right, let's see here. You guys are just all commented on. Okay, let's see. Sorry, guys. I'm just trying to catch up on the comments here. Let's see. So next question is, what do the Raptors need to be contenders? A center, for sure. Jarret Allen would be nice. And we have to hope that our core develops really nicely in terms of OG Anunoby, Pascal, Fred, Gary Trent Jr. as well. They really need to take the next step and really just let this core grow together. I think that's what I think the Raptors need. Should the Raptors go after Kawhi Leonard in free agency? I would love for them to go. I don't think he will sign here, though. I think he'll re-sign with the Clippers or maybe pull off a surprise move. There's some rumors about Kawhi Leonard wanting to go to the Golden State Warriors. I don't know how that's going to work out, but that would be a scary, scary team there. That may be even scarier than Kevin Durant there. So I don't know. That's going to be a deadly team. Is Barnes 6'7" without shoes? Fluff? Yeah, 9. I think he is. If Trent decides to stay, do you see Nurse starting him? I believe I went over these questions. Sorry, guys. I'm just trying to catch up on some of the new questions here. What about Richaun Holmes? Richaun Holmes, I really like him. Monroe's. But the thing is, with Richaun Holmes, you get someone similar, and Kem Burton, you can sign him for potentially way cheaper. Richaun Holmes is reportedly asking for 17, 18, 19 million dollars. So I think that is quite a bit for someone who's not a 7-foot center, which is what I believe the Raptors need for certain matchups. And they also need someone who can stretch the floor, which Richaun Holmes isn't. He's a really nice piece. I would love for the Raptors to have him, but not at that price. I think he's quite expensive. So what are the chances that we sign and trade Lowry or just lose him for nothing? I don't think we lose him for nothing. I think there's a better chance of us re-signing Lowry. I see the Raptors signing Reed Lowry than letting him walk for free, because we know Masai Ujiri is not going to let him walk for free. We know that teams like Miami Heat only have $19 million in cap space, so I think it's a very likely chance. And they are rumored to be front runners to sign Kyle Lowry, so I can definitely see them trying to sign Kyle Lowry in a sign and trade. So we need a tier 1 player like Kawhi, red line. If we could get someone like that, man, I truly believe we're a contending team. We're literally all that and a center away from being a really good contending team. Dante Exum, that's the one I was talking about. Yes, thank you. Dante Exum was what Cleveland Cavaliers traded to get Jarret Allen. So that is why I would have liked the Raptors to get involved in the Nets trade where they acquired James Harden, but we don't know. Maybe that deal was going on, and you know what? Maybe Masai didn't hear about it, because Dante Exum, and I believe they gave up a second-round pick, the Cleveland Cavaliers did, to acquire Jarret Allen. So that was a really cheap deal. When will Curry be a free agent? I believe he's still. Let me look it up. I believe he's still got a few years left on his contract. He's got maybe 2 years left, I believe. Let me have a quick look here. Well, he signed a 4-year contract in just last season. 200. No, that doesn't sound right. Why does that sound so wrong? That's not right. I believe he's oh yeah, so he's going to be a free agent next season, 2022. That's crazy. If we can sign Allen, I think we're all set. I agree. I wonder if Raptors ever convince Nando De Colo, to come back. That's so weird how we've had him on our roster for what, like 5-6 years now. He hasn't played. I think longer, and we still have his rights. Yeah, because he's still playing in Europe. Flynn at the 1, Barnes at the 3, and shooting guard could be Watson. Says some people. I agree. Kelly is 7 feet. Is he really? I believe he's listed at 6'7". I could be wrong here. Let me have a quick look at Kelly Olynyk. I believe he's listed at 6'10". Basketball Reference has him as 6'11", so he could be. Yeah, I could be wrong. He could be listed at 7 foot. Someone, John Doe says Alex Len was 7 foot. Yeah, that's true. Bring in Taco. Bring in Taco Fall, and we're set. That's what we need, guys. We need Taco Fall, and have him just stand in the paint like this, just like how he was doing against Kyle Lowry on that game winner. But no, 6'9" starters are startled to take over. Not gonna lie, it's the best size overall. No, 6'9" definitely is, guys. I don't have a problem with a smaller center. The only issue is certain matchups, as I talked about earlier. When you get guys like Robin Lopez going off on us, and who's not known for his offense, we definitely need a 7-foot center just in case of a matchup. So that's why. When will who would you want the Raptors to go after since you want a 7-foot center? I think the obvious choice is Jarret Allen. If we're not able to sign him, sign someone like a JaVale McGee as a backup, not a starter, obviously, just for certain matchups, just to provide that. Kevin Durant, Kawhi Leonard says Big D. Yeah, Kevin Durant is definitely a better player. Who came from Raptors Digest and Mr. Pro? All right. Oh, wow. You got 120 people in here. What's up, guys? Thank you for being here, guys. I really do appreciate it. I'm trying to catch up to all the comments. Holmes most likely staying with the Kings. We should go for Marvin Bagley instead, says Shear. Yeah, Shear, he would be nice. The only thing is, I don't think he can come and be a starter right away. His defense does need a lot of work. I think that's the case. I think that's the case with Marvin Bagley. He has had an injury issue as well. So I think that's the thing. Holmes can shoot. Can he? Big D? He can't shoot 3-pointers though, can he? That's what I was talking about, maybe. Like in terms of how he can shoot the 3-pointer. Some people be like, hey, you've been here for 2 hours and 30. I really appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. You're getting a shout out in my next video here. I hope you're subscribed. I'm definitely going to make sure to comment on my latest video. I'll just get a screenshot off that. I'm shouting you out in the next video I make, man. But thank you guys for being here. I really do appreciate all of you guys being here. All right, let's get to the comments. What's good? What's good? Showing love from Rexdale. Rio McLovin, thank you for being here. Also, the Knicks are kind of lacking around the point guard position when it comes to leadership. Do you think the Raptors could do a sign and trade with the Knicks around Mitchell Robinson? I think that's a possibility, but Robinson would be nice. Here's the thing, though. The Knicks have about $53 million in cap space, so they can outright sign Kyle Lowry to a $30 million and then go and sign DeMar DeRozan. So I definitely don't see a sign and trade with the Knicks. Pascal's injury is supposed to be keep him out of the lineup for a portion of next season. I actually think this could be a blessing in disguise for the continued development of OG. His game off the dribble, says JJ Buckets. JJ, thank you for being here, man. Appreciate you. If you guys haven't, he makes Raptors content too, so make sure to go check out his channel. But yeah, JJ, I absolutely agree. I think it's a blessing in disguise. Not that you ever wish injuries on players, but OG Anunoby, Gary Trent Jr., I said this earlier, they're going to get a chance to work on the offensive side when Pascal's not going to be there. It's going to give more opportunity to other players. So it sucks that Pascal's up, but absolutely. The Cavs gave up a first round and a second rounder and had to take on, okay, so says Loke. Okay, sorry, excuse me. Yeah, I thought it was just a second round pick. So they did have to give a first round pick for Jarret Allen. Okay, that makes sense. Let's see here. Apparently, Baines dropped the soup and they snapped his neck, says Sean Webb. I thought he fell in the washroom where he slept, something like that. It's the poor guy's just had a really rough season in terms of bad luck, man. He's had a kid and it's had the reverse effect of Fred VanVleet, unfortunately. Not that we should laugh on Aaron Baines. So Fred VanVleet had the kid. He went off in the finals, and Aaron Baines has a kid and goes in the total opposite directions. The guy's had injuries. He's had so many issues, man. I feel bad for him. He's a really good guy, but unfortunately, he's just really struggled. If Taco Falls was consistent, Brad would start him, no question. Absolutely, Serge. Last Turner. Chris Paul is declining at $44 million and becoming a UFA per Shams. Yeah, I saw that too. The Minecraft. Yeah, he's looking for a long contract. Cam Birch will be a perfect for our bench. He's very loyal, and yeah, I think so too. We can sign Cam Birch for a little. You should do this tomorrow at chat. We will be packed, says Michael. I would love to. If you guys want to. What do you guys think? Do you guys think I should do this chat tomorrow when live stream while free agents are going off? I would love to do that. Hey man, how about Powell for Mavs? He is a center and Canadian. Yeah, says Rolly Wolfie. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name, but yeah, absolutely. He would be nice. He's a very versatile defender. He isn't a 7-foot center, but in terms of what he brings in terms of defense, man, he's a beast. If you saw Powell in that Clippers and Dallas game, man, that'd be nice if you could have him. He's a very versatile defender. So excited for summer league, says Phil. Me too, especially with Scotty Barnes and some of our second round picks. I'm really excited to do this. Thank you, bro. This has been a great stream, says some people. Hey, thank you, man. I really appreciate you guys being here. I can't thank you guys enough. Raptors have a lot of 6. Yeah, that can play point guard. Red line. Yeah, you know what? I was initially very heated when they passed on some of the players in the second round, but I really like who they've, in terms of when you take a look at the players we drafted in the second round, a lot of versatility. The Canadian kid, I keep forgetting his name. Bolin? I keep butchering his name. I'm tempted to call him Delanto for some reason. Delano Banton is his name. Sorry, guys. I don't know why I keep saying Delanto. There's Delon, right? And there's so many names to remember. Sorry, guys. But yeah, Delano Banton would be really nice, man. He's 6'9", can handle the point guard. And I think that's where the Raptors are transitioning. They're going to a team from going to smaller midget guards we had with Kyle Lowry and Fred VanVleet and going towards a more strong and bigger lineup. I think that's definitely going to help our defense. Do you think CP will come to the Raptors or not? No. Fred Kieran, hey, how are you doing? Thank you for being here. Do you think CP will come to the Raptors? No, man. I just don't see the Raptors and CP being a mix. He wants a lot of money, and I think the fit with the Suns is really nice. I really hope he doesn't go money chasing and go somewhere else. I think the Suns can pay him, so he'd be really nice. Fred, did I miss the whole stream, or I just came here? Damn. I don't know. I've been streaming for about 2 hours and 37 minutes, so maybe you did miss it. Maybe it doesn't show up. I don't know. Maybe YouTube's being weird, so it does that sometimes. Hello from Madrid, Spain. Thank you for your back home to Toronto, says Ignacio. Sorry, I can't pronounce your name, but Igarte. Thank you for being here all the way from Madrid. I really appreciate you guys being here. Thank you, guys. Malachi shouldn't be in the summer league, man. He'll just dominate. Go to give other people some time. I agree. He's been playing really well. The video of Malachi Flynn came today, and he was dominating, man. He was killing it. Delano Banton. Yes, I you know what? I was about to Google his name, and then I was like, I know his name. What am I saying? It's just we've been talking free agents, Derek, and I've been going with all sorts of names, and yeah, the heat's getting to me. I don't know if you guys are in British Columbia here, but there's been absolutely insane amount of heat this season. That's what's getting to me. That's what it is. Maybe I just need to hydrate myself for a second here. No, thank you guys. Thank you. I really appreciate you guys being here, but it means a lot. If you want to subscribe, that'd be amazing. If you guys want to give this video a thumbs up, it helps me show our fans. But chat's been fun, Podgy. Let's do it tomorrow. Mike, thank you for being here, man. I really appreciate you. Yeah, Delano Banton. Yeah. I'm Derek, man. I'm from British Columbia, bro. I'm not from Toronto, but no, I am so sorry, guys. I've been researching prospects for like the last 2 months, like second round picks as well, and I've been looking at free agency. I've been in school full time, so I'm trying to remember like a bunch of like science terms and whatnot. I've got like a million names in my head, so I'm sorry. Yeah, I totally forgot his name. Delanto. Yeah, Delanto would be a perfect nickname. Delano Banton. I think I called him Delanto in my video when I was talking about the second round picks. JJ Buckets, what is up, man? I appreciate you being here. If he ever becomes a star, Delanto would be a fantastic nick. Coffee, write that right now. I'm gonna get a shirt with that says Delanto. Should I Delanto Banton? That would be hilarious. Hey, sure, man. I really appreciate you being here. This is a lot of fun. This is my very first live stream, so I really appreciate you guys being here. I hope my mic's not being funny here. It's placed a little bit on the awkwardly on the side, so man's shopping looking well. Yeah, he looks nice, man. Fred, you're from Surrey in British Columbia. That's awesome. I'm from British Columbia too, man. That's awesome. It's gonna look funny having a 6'9" point guard and, and having Fred VanVleet as shooting guard. Tired of being cool. I absolutely agree. I think that's gonna be a funny look on the Raptors, but it's gonna be good. We're gonna have a little bit more length in the backcourt. I'm excited. Lowry to the Mavs, sign and trade for Powell and draft pick. What do you think? Rolly Wolfie, I think the Raptors could acquire a little bit more. Not that I don't like Powell, or not that I think we shouldn't acquire a draft pick, but in terms of what Lowry brings, and I think someone like Chris Paul has proven this in this year's playoff of how what he's done with the Suns, and that's not to say Suns aren't a good team. Damn, you in school? Yeah, bro. I'm going back to school after many years. Yeah, I'm in full time university. I'm doing 5 days a week, so it's been crazy. What university do you go to? I go to Stanford College. It's all good, bro. I subscribe. Keep it up. Hey, Derek, man, I appreciate that. Thank you so much, Derek. Will you upload this video? Yeah, I'm just gonna after I end the stream. I think it uploads. I'll definitely upload it. What should the Raptors do with Rodney Hood? My says my dad left. So Rodney Hood, I think what they should do with him is they have till Tuesday, I believe, which is the day after the free agency. So if they need to include his and Aaron Baines' contract in some sort of sign-in trades, or if any sort of trades they need to include him for salary purposes, where they let's say give up future picks or something, then they can include it. But I think if not, they're not able to decide by Tuesday. I think they'll decline both Aaron Baines and Rodney Hood's contract. So we may not, besides Kyle Lowry, we may not see a lot of work from the Raptors on day one of free agency. So aren't there only two universities in BC? Oh, sorry, I meant in David. When I meant in science, it's just I'm studying to become a nurse, so a licensed practical nurse, and they just have a lot of science terms I need to remember and scientific terms. So I'm not especially focused just on science, but yeah. Rio McLovin, Delano, Delo, Delo. That's a good name too. That's a great name. When do you think Masai will resign? Could it be finally tomorrow? I hope so, says Ignacio. So I hope Masai signs tomorrow. I believe his free agency starts tomorrow as well at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 Eastern. So yeah, hopefully they have that announced by tomorrow. If Philly goes to 76ers, we're definitely getting Simmons. An honest opinion, that's a losing trade. Serge, here's the thing though. Ben Simmons, for all the hate he's been getting, I feel like this is a trend with all of NBA fans where you tend to hate on players that have done really poorly lately, right? We saw it with Paul George last summer. And yes, they make a lot of money. And yes, it's okay to criticize them. But I think there's a fair chance of where you criticize players and really start to hate players because you think they're crap. I mean, Ben Simmons, yeah, he makes a lot of money. Yeah, he can't shoot, but he's still a really good player. Personally, Serge, I don't think the Philly 76ers do that. They've been asking for a lot more lately. So Phil says Rodney Hood is likely gone. I agree. What about Stanley Johnson? This guy kind of stinks. I really like Stanley Johnson in terms of how he carries himself. If you guys have watched his interviews after game, that one game where he guarded Luka Doncic, he was so humble in the way he spoke to the media. The media was talking about how they're trying to talk about Stanley Johnson and how he did a great job of guarding Luka Doncic. And all he said was, you know what? Give my teammates credit. We all guarded him well. He didn't specify on him alone, which shows that he doesn't have a big ego. He's a very good player. So yeah, he's a very good person, but I don't think the Raptors should bring him back. Man, if Kawhi comes back to Toronto, we would get another chip, and then it would just be one of the best defensive teams in history. Oh, says Jubin. I absolutely agree, man. There would be a beast of a team if the Raptors do acquire him. I resent that. Stanimo is a beast. He is a beast on defense. Unfortunately, his offense isn't just going to be around. That's just going to be a reality, and he has to accept that. I think that's hard to accept as a basketball player, even though he's still so young. I just don't see him being a great offensive player in our league. Masai waiting for the castle to be built before announcing his record-breaking. Hey, he's gonna get a really big deal. I feel like Banton says peaking. Yeah, Stanley Johnson, good team guy. Yeah, he's a great guy, man. He really is. But I feel like we need more offense, and I feel like we could, unfortunately, we could replace Stanley Johnson's defense and get a better offensive player. Stanley has heart. He's like the new G. Yeah, junkyard dog. I remember him. Yeah, I agree. Stanley Johnson is really nice, man. I agree, guys. When Ben Simmons get traded, I think he will dominate. Look at Ingram. Yeah, I absolutely agree. Maybe he's not happy with the 76ers, says Red Line. That's the case because we have to remember everyone's hating on Kyle Kuzma, but he was amazing with the Lakers before LeBron and AD got there. And think of this, guys. Any of you guys who play basketball, you know when you're someone who needs a ball in their hand, you're not a spot up shooter. You're someone who creates a shot for himself. When you're playing with two ball dominant players, it doesn't help your game. You're just standing around watching them play. And we know LeBron James and AD are better players, no doubt. And that's not to say they shouldn't be passing him. They should be not be ball handling. But when you play with players like that, it's normally going to mess up your game and your routine. So yeah, I think Ben Simmons is going to be a great player on another team. Yeah, he does need to get his confidence back. Sure, I agree. Scotty Barnes looks like a mini Giannis. He does, man. He's a freak. Have you guys seen his wingspan? And do I listen to any B-ball podcasts? You know what, Mike? I would love to, man. I don't know any good ones. If you guys want to suggest some, I would love to. I watch all the Raptors YouTubers. I love those guys. Everyone's amazing. I think everyone does a great job. So I listen to most. Unfortunately, I was mentioning to someone I'm full-time in school, so I have really hard time keeping up with everything. But yeah, I would love to listen to podcasts if there are some. I would love to see DeRozan come back. But considering the last time he spoke to Masai Ujiri, yeah, I don't. He hung up. Yeah, there's a Serge. Yeah, there's a podcast that came out with I can't remember who was interviewing DeMar DeRozan, and when he was interviewing DeMar DeRozan, excuse me, guys, I have a fan blowing because it's so hot here. But when he was interviewing DeMar DeRozan, he said he didn't even want to say Masai Ujiri's name. So Masai Ujiri and DeMar DeRozan, I think that relationship is broken up. I don't think DeMar DeRozan is coming back unless Masai is leaving, and even then, I just don't see them bringing DeMar back and him wanting to come here. So. Scotty Barnes will be a better version of Simmons, says Ignacio. Yeah, I agree. I can definitely see him being a better version of Simmons as well. What do you think? Who do you think the Raptors will trade? I think one of the very likely players they will trade is Chris Boucher. And the reason I say this is because he's got an expiring contract. He's making $7 million. He's outperformed. Yeah, thank you, David. That was Shannon who was interviewing DeMar DeRozan. But Chris Boucher has definitely outplayed his contract. The guy should be getting paid 10, 12, 14 million, if not, but he definitely deserves a lot of money. He's a free agent next year. So I think if the Raptors could get something for Chris Boucher or something like that, I think that's definitely worth it. If we could trade Chris Boucher and get our starting center, throw in fillers and throw in maybe a future first round pick, I definitely like that. Lowry to the Heat Nation, says Alex. Yeah, if they're able to get a sign and trade that helps the Raptors, I absolutely agree. All right, so Kawhi Leopard is asking, who do you prefer between Nerlens Noel, Jarret Allen, and Rashawn Holmes? Personally, I like Jarret Allen. I really like Rashawn Holmes. I don't like the kind of money he's demanding. $20 million is a lot for Rashawn Holmes. He's a really nice player, but I personally do believe the Raptors do need a 6'11", 7-foot center. So I feel like Jarret Allen would be the guy. I like Nerlens Noel too, but the issue I've talked about him earlier, Kawhi Leopard, was that he doesn't stretch the floor. He brings a lot of similar tools to what Chris Boucher does. He's a few inches taller than Chris Boucher, but he doesn't shoot at all. So it's really going to clog up the paint with Nerlens Noel. But yeah, Barnes. Yeah, I've seen Barnes. Barnes likes playing bully ball with smaller guards, says Sher Khan. Yeah, I've seen Barnes, man. He's clapping in players' faces. He's going like this. He's mocking them. He's a beast on defense, man. He definitely bullies a lot of smaller guards. You've seen those highlights. Sure, I've seen those too. Allen, 100%, even though he's going to be the most, Phil, I agree. He's going to be the most expensive, but he's what we need. I watched Scotty Barnes, and he says he idolized and modeled his game to Magic Johnson. You think the Raptors can win a championship in the near future if he somehow as good as Magic? He seemed really confident, says Rolly Wolfie. Yeah, man, if he gets anywhere close to Magic, so yeah. All we need is scoring on this team and a center, but yeah. Rio McLovin, I really like NBA Chef. He loves Toronto, and he's from the States. Oh, I didn't know he's from the States. I follow him, man. He's hilarious. He's absolutely one of the funnier YouTubers I've seen. So Graham Kennedy says, you got to check out NBA Chef. Oh, yeah, I watch him, man. He's from New York. That's what he is. But he's Raptors family. Yeah, I've seen them. Unfortunately, I've been so busy with school, guys. That's why I haven't been able to keep up with every Raptors YouTube content maker. But yeah, I usually check out his video. The guy's hilarious. NBA Chef's just this guy's just, man, his laughter alone just cracks me up. He's funny. Oh yeah. What is the deadline for Masai to re-sign? Says Rumal. I don't think there's a deadline. He can leave whenever, but I believe he become his out of his contract when free agency starts tomorrow. I could be wrong. I could be wrong on that. Some people have mentioned today. I think we can re-sign him tomorrow when free agency starts. So maybe we start out the free agency with a bang and we re-sign Masai Ujiri. A-Rob says, hey, brother, I want to say thanks for the stream, considering you have exams coming up, friend. Thank you for the time. Hey, A-Rob, man, I really appreciate you guys being here. I really appreciate you being here. It means a lot to me, guys, but thank you for being here. It's been a very long stream. JJ Buckets says JJ Reddick's podcast is good to listen to. So is Kevin O'Connor's, but his co-host is a little meh. JJ's podcast is really good, actually. Now that you talk about it, I did listen to who was Danny Green. I was about to say Jaylen Green. There's too many Greens to keep track of, but Danny Green was the Green Room. I think his podcast is really nice. I was listening to parts of it when we were on our championship season. I like Danny Green's podcast as well as JJ's. They're really good podcasts, but I just haven't had the time to listen to it full time. If you guys actually pay attention, we are changing our team to big ball to defend against. Yeah, I agree, Sean. You're dead on. Our team, smaller guys being. Well, yeah, I agree. That's why we drafted. I'm gonna call him Delonto Banton. If you guys heard him, that's his new nickname, Delonto Banton, the Canadian kid. Yeah, that's why we drafted him. He's 6'9". He's got a huge wingspan. So yeah, I think that's why we drafted someone like him. We're going to more lengthy players. So I definitely agree. I think so. Try Locked On Raptors podcast. They got it for each team. Okay. And did you see the new trade suggestion from Bleachers Report for sending Simmons, Hills for Siakam, Lowry, 2023, 2025 first round picks? Still a crap deal for the Raptors, in my opinion, says Sean. Sean, man, they have some horrible trades, man, on Bleachers Report. I follow them too. I follow them for the latest news, but they have some of the bizarre trades, man. There's just absolutely nothing good to say about Bleachers Report. Even when they're talking about some signings, everything, they have some really bizarre trades and signings. Phil says NBA Chef is a Raps hype machine, man. He is. He's amazing. I'm tired of being so cool, says Christopher. Corner secretly loves the Raptors. Yeah. It's the first time Kawhi Leopard. Yeah, this is the first time. This is my very first time I've gone live. So thank you guys. I really appreciate all of the 109 people here. You guys are amazing, man. Thank you. You listen to Raptors, ask Fred Karen. I listen to everyone, man. Raptors Digest, Luca Rosano, Amateur Hour Sports. I'm trying to think here. Everyone, NBA Chef. It's just lately, I've been in school for about 2 months now. I have not had the time. I'm in full time. And shout out to my friends JJ Buckets and Clutch Takes too. They make Raptors content as well. So if you guys want to check them out, they make some awesome Raptors content. So yeah, I listen to everyone, man. Every single Raptors content maker. So does free agency start tonight at 12? Ask Rio. No, it starts at 3 p.m. Pacific. I'm from Pacific, so I'm saying 3 p.m. Pacific. For you guys in the Eastern, it would be 6 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. So Justin Champagny is the most, I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right, is the most under the radar signing for the Raptors. You know what? I have not seen some of his highlights. I'm not going to lie, but his size alone, and I took a look at his stats, man. The guy's, he's got he's averaged 11 rebounds or something. It seems pretty nice, man. I still have to do research on that. What time is the deadline tomorrow? The deadline for what? To re-sign Masai Ujiri or the Minecrafter player? Free agency starts, 6 p.m. 6 Eastern, excuse me. Yeah, Phil, you're right. I feel like the perfect player for the Raptors right now would be Porzingis, but he's a bit too expensive. He is very expensive. I agree. He's injury prone as well. Jack Armstrong is so hyped, man, says the Minecraft player. Man, Jack Armstrong is amazing. I've been watching him since I was a kid, and it's still so cool to see him still there. The crazy thing is Jack Armstrong is only 55 years old, and he's been around forever. So it's awesome, man. He's the ultimate Raptors commentator. He's amazing. Are you open to the idea of trading Pascal? If so, what package do you like or would consider? Here's the thing with Pascal, guys. If we're trading Pascal Siakam away, I've talked about this many times, but if we're trading Pascal Siakam away, you have to trade him for someone who's better than him. You're not going to trade him for pieces to fill out your roster. You're not going to trade him for a decent player and then you're going to get a decent bench player. Personally, if I'm trading Pascal Siakam, you want to trade him for someone who can score better than Pascal Siakam. We need scoring help. So that would be something I would like back in a package. If you decide to rebuild completely, then trading Pascal would be good for several first-round picks, some assets, preferably center prospects, but that's what I would personally trade for Pascal. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense to trade Pascal unless we're rebuilding or getting a better player back. Banton, I heard, was compared to Malcolm Brogdon potential. What do you think? Really? I have not heard that, but that would be amazing if he's able to. I know Malcolm Brogdon is a really tall player as well for a point guard. Yeah. Yeah, he looks like a great pickup. I agree, Phil. Yeah, Derek, I agree. The thing about Pascal is that things he brings to the Raptors, his defense, his passing, his rebounding. He is so versatile in terms of what he could bring in the power forward position. When you look around the league, how many players can you see that scored average, whatever, 19 points he did, 7 rebounds, 4 assists? He can get you a steal a game. He can block shots. I know he struggled with the 3-point as well, but like you need to realize that having the skill set that Pascal Siakam does is very rare. So if you are to trade him, you either get a better player. If you do want to rebuild, then it makes sense to trade him. I feel like Jalen Green has a high floor but low ceiling. I'm happy we got Scotty. Yeah. Or excuse me, Jalen Suggs, not Jalen Green. Yeah, the thing with Jalen Suggs, he does have a really high floor. He's very accomplished already for a young player. But in terms of his ceiling, that's hard to say because you don't know how these guys are going to be at the NBA level. That is the difficult thing to see at the NBA level. We can all predict, and even experts can, but we'll have to wait and see. The Orlando Magic have a lot of guards, so we'll have to see how Jalen Suggs does. If Raptors get Allen, what's going to be our starting five? Jarret Allen, Pascal Siakam, OG Anunoby, Gary Trent Jr., Fred VanVleet, and then our bench is going to be pretty nice too. So, do you like Watson as our new coach? I think he can do amazing wonders with our young player. Watson as our new coach? Am I missing something? Is that the Australian guy we signed, or was that the other guy we signed from the Phoenix Suns assistant? Because I think it's that Suns assistant. I forget the name, but yeah, I think he does a tremendous job. I think Devin Booker, if it's that guy, Devin Booker was talking about how much he's helped him develop. So, personally, I wouldn't do Pascal for Victor Oladipo. He's had injury issues, and we can get a lot more than that. I heard Lowry is going to the Heat for Dragic and Achiuwa. I've heard those rumors too. Yeah, I've heard those rumors. Nothing's official yet. We'll have to wait and see. Champagne, yeah, he was a good signing. Do you think Jason Kidd as Dallas new head coach will be more effective than he was? I really was surprised when Jason Kidd was fired from the Milwaukee Bucks. I really was. And even Giannis was. He was really disappointed that the Dallas Mavericks, or excuse me, the Milwaukee Bucks fired him. So I think he's a great coach. I think he'll do wonders in Dallas. He's going to be well. I mean, considering Luka Doncic is a ball handler, Luka Doncic is a triple-double machine. And we know Jason Kidd back in his day, he was a triple-double machine as well. So yeah, absolutely. I love that. Yeah, Rod. Yeah, nothing is finalized until 6 p.m. tomorrow. You're going to hear rumors. Jadeep Singh says, I just subscribed. I'm new to the channel. Jadeep, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate you being here and hitting that subscribe button. That means a lot. Which team do you have Lowry going to in the offseason? I think either the Miami Heat or the 76ers for sure. There's a slim chance if the Dallas Mavericks do sign DeMar DeRozan, I could see him probably going there as well. The old Phoenix Suns guy, says Derek. Yeah. He's Earl Watson. Yeah, now that you see his first name, now I remember. For some reason, as soon as he said that name, I thought Paul Watson. I was like, wait, what? No, Earl Watson. Yeah, he's been amazing. Mr. Bro, how long have you been streaming? It's been 2 hours, 55 minutes. I'm probably going to go soon, guys. But yeah, I really do appreciate you guys being here. Oladipo is dope. I agree. Will you take down the photo if Lowry is gone tomorrow? No, man. He's here to stay, bro. He's a Raptors for life, man. I love him. Can Scotty Barnes run at the point guard? At times. We do have Fred and Flynn as well, so it depends. I want the All-Star in Tampa this year. All-Star in Tampa, like the All-Star game. Yeah, that wouldn't be bad. It's a nice place. Really enjoying the live. Thanks for answering all the questions, says my dad left. Hey, I appreciate you guys. Arvin Seikon says, Skindown, what's up, man? Thank you for being here. New to the channel. I hope the Raptors can get good defensive center, says Andoy. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. No, absolutely. I'm huge on Jarret Allen. If they're somehow able to fire him, that would be huge. I really like Earl Watson as our new assistant, says Cher. I do too. I really like him. He's awesome, man. Do you think the Raptors will sign Cam Birch? I really hope so. He's a great backup center. He fits in with the Raptors system so well. He's a humble guy. He doesn't ask for the ball, so absolutely. JJ Buckets, or excuse me, Andrew. JJ, I'll get to you in just a second, but Andrew's asking if the Raptors do Lowry for Dragic and Precious Achiuwa, do you buy out Dragic or keep? I think you keep Dragic. He's too valuable because you can always flip him in the future. If that is the case, if you're getting Dragic back, Andrew, I think the best case scenario is just to flip him. Have you seen the CJ for the Siakam rumors? Huge no thank you to that one, and thought of watching CJ get cooked. JJ, I know how much you hate CJ, but no, I'm not doing that trade no matter what. CJ for Siakam makes no sense at all. We have so many guards already. I'm not doing that trade. That's absolute no. Phil says Earl Watson got fired from his head coaching position with the Suns a few years back after 3 games. Wasn't fair on him, but they kept him for a player development and seems to know his stuff. Earl Watson, I don't know enough about the guy, but all I've heard is positive things on player development. As I talked about, you know what, Devin Booker does a great job. So yeah, he's amazing, man. Siakam for Jarret Allen, then no, man. Jarret Allen is great, but I'm not doing Siakam for him, David. Siakam, if I'm trading Siakam, you're trading for score, man, not someone like Jarret Allen. How much would you pay? How much would the Raptors pay Jarret Allen? Personally, if you're asking me, 18, 20 million, I don't think that gets it done. I think the Raptors will definitely have to give up 21 to $23 million to try and pry him away from the Cleveland Cavaliers. And we do have to remember, guys, the free agent market isn't that great. The center market isn't that great this season. So there's going to be a lot of teams trying to get Jarret Allen. So we do have to pay him a lot of money. Expecting a lot of announcements at 6:02 Eastern tomorrow. Or do you think I'll drag out a bit? I think you're going to hear some announcements. The free agency isn't that great. I think guys like Chris Paul are going to re-sign right away. You're going to hear that. Maybe Kawhi Leonard, I believe, is going to take his time. We saw what he did a few years ago. He held the media out and he fooled everyone. Nobody had any idea where he was going. So I think Kawhi Leonard's going to wait out. But I think the Raptors are definitely going to wait a day to make moves. I've said this before, but Aaron Baines, Rodney Hood, their deadlines to accept their team options had been pushed back to Tuesday. So if the Raptors are probably going to be working the phones to try and trade something to get something back for them. So yeah, can you please do a live stream tomorrow? Absolutely, Minecraft, I will. Siakam is very versatile, but the numbers of time Nurse has relied on him in the game-winning shot, and he's missed his very. Serge, I agree, but it's been so unfortunate. I don't know if it's just because Pascal can't hit it. A lot of those shots were rimmed out, but we'll have to see what happens next season. I do believe they should give other guys opportunities as well. Yeah, hell no for CJ McCollum, says Phil. I agree. I would trade Siakam for assets or picks or possibly a star, says TJ. I would agree. I think if you're trading Pascal Siakam, you're not trading him for pieces. You're trading him for one really good player. Or if you decide to rebuild, blow it up, then you trade Siakam for assets. Do you think the Cavs will trade Allen? They have to sign and trade him if they are trading him. So possibly, if they get enough pieces back where they think that makes them a competitive team in the long run, I think so. And does Dallas have a better trade package for Lowry than the Heat? I don't know. I don't see that many players. Sorry, guys, if you're hearing my dog barking in the back there, she's just going crazy. I don't really see a lot of I don't see the Mavs roster, and I see a player that I really want from their team. They traded Josh Richardson away. He's gone. They're not trading Luka Doncic. So, who's Moses Brown would be nice, but they have to throw in a lot of picks or something for us to want something from Dallas. But since Chris Paul and Kawhi declined their player options, what move do you think they are going to make? Maybe the Knicks. The Knicks have 53 million cap space, man. Maybe they do a sign and trade. I'm thinking the Knicks are going to do something big this offseason. If we get Allen, what's going to happen to Birch, Boucher? Do you think they stay? I think Boucher is gone. I really do think Boucher is gone just because he's making $7 million. He should be getting paid way more for how he's playing. I think Khem Birch, you definitely bring him back on a cheaper deal, have him as your backup center. You think Mike Conley will be good for the Raptors? No, just because he's injury prone, he's going to demand a lot of money. I don't have any issue with Mike Conley. He's a really nice player, but he's going to be demanding a decent amount of money, at least 20 plus million, I believe. And the Jazz really want him back too. So can you please do a live stream while the trade goes down, Raptors only? Can you please do a live stream with the trades go down with the Raptors? I'm going to be live streaming tomorrow for free agents. So the Minecrafter, if you're asking, yes, that. After that, I won't be able to. I do have school. It's a weird timing from 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. So, but yeah, I'll definitely try to live stream tomorrow. If the Raptors get Achiuwa along with Dragic, what do you think they do with Achiuwa? And does it make sense after they sign and trade, also sign Khem Birch? That is the tricky situation because we have Freddie Gillespie, who needs a little bit of work. Let's not kid ourselves. He could be a good bench piece, but he needs a little bit of work. We could develop him a little bit more. Achiuwa is going to be another player similar to Khem Birch. So that is something you're dead on in that. That's going to be really tricky in terms of what we do with Birch because we do need a starting center. So maybe we don't re-sign Birch, but that's tricky. I think Spurs will be third team involved in Lowry if Lowry gets possibly. Because if we're in Miami, he's been wanting to do DeMar DeRozan. So yeah, I could definitely see that being a possibility. That's going to be really interesting. Boucher is more of a power forward than a center. So if you think the Raptors can get Allen, keep Boucher and Birch, you're all set. Yeah, Phil, I agree. Pelicans probably give Raptors the most. I agree. Fred, I agree. Unfortunately, they had that case with Jackson Hayes, who I really liked. I really like Jackson Hayes. He's such an athletic big man in terms of what he's able to do around the rim, and he's got so much potential. He assaulted a police officer, I believe. So I don't know if the Raptors would still want to acquire him. Jarret Allen starts the center with Birch back up. Pascal starts power forward. Yeah, Phil, I agree. Yeah, Boucher backup power forward. Yeah, I love that. If Lowry signs with Miami, would they turn into a contender team? Kyle Butler, Adebayo, Hero, probably Duncan Robinson. It's hard to say. It all depends on how they played. I think they were really fatigued this season because of the bubble, quick turnaround. We saw both of the finals teams, the Lakers and the Miami Heat, really struggle. So I think I could be wrong. I definitely could see them going to semifinals for sure. It's all about matchups, though. I truly believe that. It's all about matchups. I believe if the 76ers feast off versus the Brooklyn Nets would have been in the conference finals. And then if Milwaukee faced the other team in the conference, it would have been definitely different matchups. But yeah, for sure. It depends on the matchups. I could see Heat being a lot better. Um, Kuminga, Wiggins for Pascal? I don't know if I do that. The reason I said this is because if we trade Pascal, then we have to trade Fred VanVleet. It doesn't make sense to have Pascal and have a 27-year-old Fred VanVleet who doesn't fit the timeline, because I feel like you would definitely ask for more, at least a future first-round pick. Kuminga's a nice player, don't get me wrong. Wiggins is decent too. He's been doing well with the Warriors, but I personally wouldn't do that. How does an NBA player get paid with throws or what? The Minecraft player, I'm sorry, I don't understand your question. Do you mean free throws, or why all the talk about the Raptors trading Lowry? Tangible value, true leader in a deep playoff run until, like we saw, says Richard. Richard, I really like Lowry as well. It's unfortunate, but he does want to move to a contending team, and he may not view the Raptors as a contending team. So that is why he may want to move on, just because it's likely going to happen, says Phil. Yeah, I agree. I would trade Lowry, Fred, and OG for the Boucher. Shout out to Warch Report, Voice on the Streets. Norm, you need more content, because T-Dot of Raptors. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. JJ Buckets, my guy's still going after 3 hours. I need a round. I need some water. I've been holding off to drink some water, but yeah, absolutely, guys. I will be going soon, but I really appreciate all the 139 people bringing in here. You guys, if you want to give this video a thumbs up, that'd be amazing. I do have Instagram and IG, Twitter as well. The Warwick Report on Instagram. Twitter is Warwick Duh. And if you guys want to hit the subscribe button, that'd be amazing, man. Thank you guys for being here. I do appreciate you guys. Do you have Scotty Barnes in the Raptors starting lineup or bench? Bench. Just because you have Fred VanVleet. If you re-sign Gary Trent, he's starting shooting guard. You have OG at the 3, Pascal at the 4. I don't think they start Scotty Barnes at the center position. So it's very likely he'll start off the bench. Yeah, Raptors might not contend in the coming, possibly, yeah, red line. It depends on what we do. Fred, Pascal for RJ if Dame doesn't request. So you're saying Fred and Pascal for RJ Barrett, I'm guessing? I wouldn't do that. That's a bit too much for RJ. Like when a player takes a shot. So the Minecraft, are you trying to say that if, let's say, a player takes a shot and they're making shots, that's what you get paid off? Yeah, no, I wouldn't do it for RJ Barrett. Hey, Graham, I really appreciate you being here, man. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll definitely try to, I'll definitely live stream tomorrow as well. Yeah, you know what? Shot making ability, guys. Here's the thing. You can get a good player, like let's say Kelly Olynyk. If Kelly Olynyk had been on the Houston Rockets, but let's say if Kelly Olynyk was bad, let's say Kelly Olynyk, let's put him on a bad team. Let's put him on the Washington Wizards. If say Kelly Olynyk had been on the Washington Wizards for several years and he was performing the way he was, let's say he was performing the way he was on the Houston Rockets at the end of the season. He had been doing that for 2 years. He would get a lot more money. It's like with Davis Bertans. Put Davis Bertans on a contending team, he's going to look like Kyle Kuzma. He's going to look worse than Kyle Kuzma. But since he's on a bad team, he's putting up better statistics. People are going to be like, he's a great player. He needs to go to a contender. But it's all about opportunities with the NBA. So Scotty Barnes could be starting for a few games. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Actually, Ignacio, you're right. Yeah. That's a real possibility. I forget about Pascal being injured for the first month of the season. Laser says, hey, Laser, how are you doing? Thank you for being here. Fred, thank you, man. I really appreciate you joining me. See you tomorrow. Malik Monk, a free agent pickup, says Joshua Brown. Joshua, we actually talked about this earlier. I didn't realize Malik Monk was such a good three-point shooter. And I haven't watched enough of him, so I couldn't say. But a lot of people said he's a great athletic player. Yeah, he's 6'3", but he can play the shooting guard position off of our bench, be a three-point shooter. I would love for the Raptors to have him. He's a great player. Yeah, I would definitely take him for a good amount of for a good deal. Not too much, but yeah. I would prefer cleaning out our cap space for picks and prospects. It depends. Do you believe the Raptors are contenders next season, or do you think the core we have right now could be contenders if we added to this core? Then only I would blow up this team. If you feel like if Masai Ujiri feels like this team cannot contend with the core we're having, then it makes sense to blow it up. Would you do a starting lineup of Fred VanVleet, Gary Trent Jr., OG Barnes, and Siakam at the center, says Rod? Maybe. That's a very good possibility depending on the matchup. I think it all depends. At times you can run that, but I wouldn't say you would run that throughout the season. I think that'd be too much on the players, but no way. Oh, yeah, actually, Peking. I'm sorry. I totally forgot about Chris Boucher. Yeah, Chris Boucher will be starting at the power forward center. I'm sorry. I don't know why I forgot about him. Yeah. Would you trade Kyle Lowry for Porzingis? No, Joshua, I would not. I feel like Porzingis is very injury prone. I really like Porzingis as a player, but not for the money he's making. because we couldn't contend with a full squad last year. That's true, but we also didn't have a quality center. You saw how different this team was when we had someone even like a Kemp Birch who fit in with the team so well. So I think you let them run for at least 1 year where everyone's healthy, no COVID protocols, being back in Toronto. So yeah, I definitely think it all depends on that. So. All right, guys, I'm going to take a few more questions and I have to out of here. We've been here for 3 hours and 8 minutes. So not because you couldn't contend. Who are you hoping for to get back in this trade? For if we trade Kyle Lowry, I think if we trade Kyle Lowry, personally, I want a young center. Precious Achiuwa would be nice. I know he's like 6'8", 6'9". He's not a real center, but he would be nice, man. He's an energetic, high energy guy who can bring rebounds, and I would want more. So today, Turkey Borg says today is Scotty Barnes' birthday. Yeah, he's turned 20 years old. I saw his video of when he landed in Toronto, man. He's nice. If we don't sign Allen, do you think Nurse will start Baines again? Baines is gone, man, Serge. He's got his team option till Tuesday, and we're going to decline it if we don't involve him in a trade. Starting five, Allen, Siakam, OG, Gary Trent, Fred VanVleet, bench, Birch, Boucher, Barnes, Hood, Flynn. That's what the ceiling is for next season. What's happening to Bembry and Watanabe is still on the team. Bembry's still on the team. Bembry, I feel like, is a guy you can play for certain matchups and then leave him on the bench as well. He's not going to mind. He's a good team player. So that would be nice, man. Our starting lineup looks nice there. Could be made at least the play in the season? We definitely could have. We definitely tanked at the end of the season, guys. You saw this as well, Ignacio. You saw this too. They definitely tanked, man. There's no doubt about it. They were resting their starters. Peking, today's Kawhi's birthday? No way. That's amazing. That's happy birthday to Kawhi Leonard. Would you start Barnes at point guard? Possibly, depending on matchups. We know Fred VanVleet has had injury issues as well. So if Kyle Lowry's not returning, Malachi Flynn becomes a starter temporarily. We can definitely run Scotty Barnes in the point guard position off the bench. I feel like we need more scoring off the bench, says Monroe's. I absolutely agree with you. We were ranked last in the league last season in terms of scoring. So yeah, we definitely need some scoring because when we don't have scoring, what it does is it forces Nick Nurse to play heavy minutes on the starters or else the other team goes on scoring runs. So yeah, we definitely need some scoring off of the bench to take some pressure off our starters. Kemp Birch is still not a Jarret Allen or an Al Horford. Yeah, he is not. He definitely is not. Do you project Barnes starting with us more off the season? Possibly. It depends. Like someone mentioned, we still have Chris Boucher. So unless you're playing Barnes in certain matchups at the center position, I could definitely see that. Thoughts on Milwaukee's winning a championship? All right. Giannis is still old school way without going. You know what, man? I know a lot of Raptors fans were disappointed because he chose to resign and start coming to the Raptors. I got so much respect for Giannis, man. And he even called out super teams. He said, I could have gone to a super team, done it the easy way. And the sad thing is you would have hoped that it changes the league around, and hopefully in the future it does with younger players and they don't just team up. But then you see the Lakers trying to get everyone, and obviously you have the Brooklyn as too. It's disappointing that they're still trying to form super teams, even though they're pretty good. But yeah, that's man. Hats off to Giannis. That was amazing. Nothing short of a great accomplishment. Jeremy's asking thoughts on Delano taking Barnes and Johnson to a jerk chicken spot. They're gonna be good friends, man. The rookies are gonna be good friends. They're all young players. They're definitely hanging out. You're gonna see some funny. Scotty Barnes has got his Snapchat up on Instagram, so you're gonna see some funny snaps for sure. Your favorite team other than the Raptors? Man, Mike, that's hard. I love the Raptors with such a passion. I honestly have a really hard time cheering for another team, but yeah, I don't know if I have one this year. I know I've had some in the past years because of Canadian players or, certain players, but I don't know, man. That's hard. I really don't have a favorite team, but not Raptors related, says JJ Buckets. But let's discuss Harden versus KD and why KD's individual brilliance doesn't rival James Harden's overall impact as an offensive system. Oh, what do you guys think? I think KD is a different level, man. Now, here's JJ. Here's the thing. I know you're a big LeBron fan. In terms of leadership, and I want to ask you guys quickly too, KD or LeBron? Like, put KD on that 2018 Cavs team. Do you think they're going to the finals? I think LeBron's a better leader. But, man, JJ, that's a tough one. I think he doesn't. Harden doesn't compare to KD, man. KD's as great as both of them are offensively. KD's a different beast. Us Mavs were hoping for Lowry, says Aled Dunn. Aled, thank you for being here. It's still a possibility. You guys need to sign his best friend, DeMar DeRozan, and he'll go. Why would the Pelicans rather have Lowry over Lonzo? I keep seeing this rumor. It's because Lonzo apparently doesn't want to be there, lay the foundation. And also because they were trying to negotiate during the season, and Lonzo turned all negotiations down. So I don't think he wants to come there. That's one of the reasons. Cher says, thanks again for doing this. Had a ton of fun. Cher, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you being here and every single one of you guys being here. How do you Watanabe fitting the team next season? How do I see Watanabe fitting the team? I think he's going to be one of those guys. He's still going to be the 10th, 11th, 12th guy coming off the bench. I don't think he'll get consistent minutes, but it depends. We do have Chris Boucher. We have Scotty Barnes who can play at the small. Well, Scotty Barnes who can play at the small forward position. We got Chris Boucher playing the power forward position. So I don't know where Watanabe is going to play, but it depends. Maybe we move Chris Boucher, and it all depends who we sign in the free agency. Do you like the pick of Scotty Barnes? Yeah, Turkey. I love Scotty Barnes, man. I covered him for months ago, and I went in detail about his breakdown of his defense, everything. The guy's a beast, trust me. I was shocked because those reports came out about the Raptors taking Suggs, but yeah, I love him. I mean, 2021, 2021, 22 season play in for the Raptors at least. Oh, Ignacio, you're asking if we can be playing teams for this season at the Raptors? Man, we're going playoffs, bro. We're going at least top 5 for sure. We're not going in the play-in, hopefully not, as long as we're healthy. What to do with Siakam, says Aladdin. We're keeping him, and Raptors need to keep him unless they're blowing it up. Imagine if you get Greg Monroe somehow. I hope not. He wasn't very good with the Raptors. Would you start Dragic at point guard or bench? Probably bench. If we're re-signing Gary Trent Jr., I think definitely bench. What do you do with Siakam? What's a Raptors fan feeling on this? Personally, Aladdin, I'm keeping Pascal. Would you trade Pascal and Lowry to the Sixers for Ben Simmons? For Ben Simmons and a pick, if that's possible, ask Thomas. No, I'm not trading both Pascal and Lowry to the Sixers for just Ben Simmons. That's way too much. Like I said, I'm only trading Pascal if we're rebuilding completely or if we're getting a better player back. So he's our leading scorer for a team that really struggles to score. I don't know if that makes sense. If you had to choose between these two trades, Lowry and Boucher to the Heat for Dragic, Hero, future first, or Lowry for... That's tough, man. Abdul, you put me on a tough spot there, man. That first trade is really intriguing. It really is. For to Heat for Dragic, Hero, and the future first is really nice. I think I'd probably trade that. Do you think if Lowry is reunited with DeRozan in Miami, they'll make it to the finals with Bam? All depends on DeMar DeRozan more than anything. And the spacing is going to be a little bit strange because we know Bam can't stretch the floor. Jimmy Butler can shoot threes, but that's not his specialty. DeMar DeRozan can't shoot threes, so all three of them are jump shooters. So how's that going to work in the playoffs? But it would be cool to see DeMar and Lowry on the same team again. Absolutely. Should we have traded down from the fourth? Richard, I had the same question, but apparently there were rumors that both Orlando and Oklahoma City wanted Scotty Barnes. So if the Raptors did not want Suggs, then those teams would have definitely taken Barnes, and we would have been left with Suggs anyways. Those are the rumors I've been hearing. So Turkey says LeBron's definitely the better leaders. Yeah, I agree. Mr. Bro, 2019 Raptors or 2021 Bucks? 2019 Raptors, absolutely. Do you think we should have traded down the Raptors if we wanted Barnes? Maybe 7th with the Warriors. We could have definitely gotten Wiseman and even Wiggins. I don't know if they want I don't know if they would trade Wiggins. Maybe 14th pick would have been nicer, Danish, but I don't know if he would have gone Barnes at the 7th. His stock was rising like crazy, man. Like it's like I was keeping up with mock drafts, and he was projected to go 7 to 8 range. A few weeks later, as we saw the draft combine, he went from 5 to 7 range, and then there was talks about going top 4. So yeah, I don't think he would have fallen to the 7th. I'm all the way from New Zealand. Hey, thank you for being here. I really appreciate you being here. This means a lot, man. Thank you for everyone being here. I do appreciate it, guys. If you want to hit the subscribe button, that'd be amazing. Barnes would have gone to Orlando at 5 if the Raptors tried to trade down. Yeah, Phil, I agree. There's a slim chance. Yeah, there's a very slim chance he would have fallen. The lowest he would have fell to is, Oklahoma City at 5. Once again, I will die on this hill. A healthy Harden is better player than KD. JJ Buckets, you're going on a hot take here, man. He's not... Offensively, he may be better talented, but if you put Harden and KD on a bad team, who's more likely to take them deep in the playoffs? You could throw 4 decent role players around Harden and they'd win. You know what? You do make a good point, though. That is true, though. That is true. But I don't know. We haven't seen KD for quite some time on a really bad team, so that's definitely debatable. Allen would be a monster on the Raptors. I agree. He would be huge. Dragic, Hero, and a first. Tybal is raw. Yeah, he is raw. Harden doesn't get enough credits. No, I agree, JJ. He's a beast, man. I'm not trying to discredit Harden in any way. I just think KD's a beast himself, man. Harden is definitely one of the greatest offensive players of all time. That's a hot take, but I'm agreeing with you on that one, man. He's something special, man. With your point about the Heat not being able to shoot threes with Bam, Jimmy, and DeRozan, what about the Lakers? I've been saying the same thing about the Lakers, man. The Westbrook fit with the Lakers is going to be so strange. How are they going to make that work in the playoffs? The season they may get wins, but when you have LeBron, AD, and Westbrook, who aren't the great, I'm not trying to discredit LeBron. He's a good three-point shooter, but that's not his game. He's not going to camp out on the three-point line and shoot threes for you. So what's going to happen in half-court offense Are they all just going to drive to the rim at the same time? I've been saying that. I think that's a terrible fit, man. They need to acquire some shooters. Richard says thoughts on Cade Cunningham's ceiling. That's tough, man. 6'7", 6'8". I hope Detroit works with him well. I could see him being like a Paul George type of player. People have compared him to that with better playmaking skills, I feel like. He's a hell of a player, man. I hope it's nice to see Dwayne Casey get a good player, man. He's had a rough stint in Detroit Pistons, our former Raptors coach. How's Harden better than KD? Joshua, I'm not saying Harden is better than KD. He's definitely very talented offensively. Again, it's a hot take. So most realistic package for Lowry and sign and trades, I think if you're signing and trading Lowry, it has to be between the 76ers or the Miami Heat in terms of what they can give you. From the Miami Heat, you definitely want Precious Achiuwa or Tyler Hero, one of them future first-round picks, and then other packets, other players as well. So why didn't we draft Suggs? George, I'm assuming you're saying Suggs, right? So the reason we didn't draft Suggs was because apparently he's had really terrible workouts with the Raptors. And I'll post this again for those who want to follow me on Instagram. It's the Warrant Report. Suggs, apparently, this was this was really a leak between two people having conversations. Someone from the Raptors was saying this. He was one of the worst players in terms of shooting, Suggs. He had such a bad workout with the Raptors. He had to end it early because he was getting frustrated by not making shots. They invited him for a second workout the next day, even though they had someone else coming in. And same thing happened again. So apparently, I don't know, there's been rumors. I don't want to say it's true. There's been rumors about him being purposely bad with the Raptors because he didn't want to be here. But I don't know. Thoughts on Pascal, McCollum, trade talks, Jeremy? I'm not doing that trade. Pascal is way more valuable to the Raptors, and we already have too many guards. So why did you draft Barnes instead of Suggs? Serge, I just told you why. I think Barnes has a higher ceiling overall in the long term. JP on sports, yeah. Cade Cunningham ceiling. Luka is a very high ceiling to compare to, though. He's a beast. Danish is asking, what are the chances of Lowry and DeRozan back on the Raptors? Very slim, man. It's hard. I don't think the DeRozan wants to come back, especially if Masai Ujiri's here. He's had an interview recently. Pascal's way more valuable. Yeah, Phil, I agree. Pascal from McCollum straight up would be horrendous for the Raptors. GP, yeah, I agree. Duncan Robinson still free agent would be a good pickup. I hope so. I'm guessing. And yeah, Derek. The only thing with Duncan Robinson, he's commanding like $20 million. If we could get him for cheap, yeah, I would love Duncan Robinson. But yeah, I don't think Heat will give up a first or a third team might be involved, like Dallas, to send Foreign there and Precious to. Yeah, could be a possibility. Would you have traded down for Josh Giddey? No. Josh Giddey's not huge on him, to be honest. Josh Giddey, really good passer. It's always excuse me, guys. It's always a question mark with international players how to perform at the NBA level. And I know Luka has been amazing, but I don't know about Josh Giddey. I personally wouldn't. Josh Giddey actually was projected to go somewhere in the 10 to 14 range. So that was a shock when Oklahoma City took him. I was shocked at the Raptors, but I was more shocked at Josh Giddey and Josh Primo, who the Spurs took. So that was a surprise pick as well. I think Pascal will bounce back this year. Remember how good he was? Yeah. Monroe's, I absolutely agree. Sick and tired of the Siakam trade talks. Yeah, he's expensive, but yeah, I agree. Derek, I agree. It doesn't make sense trading Pascal. Pascal for McCollum and Nurkic, and McCollum sucks, but is slightly more tolerable. Yeah, I still wouldn't do that, though. Raptors need Zubac for Lowry and Kennard. I swear I'd probably want for more. The Raptors can hold teams like Miami Heat and the Clippers who don't have much cap space to sign a Kyle Lowry to, they can hold him hostage because he could go to another team and sign outright. So, yeah. All right, guys, I will be ending. It's been running quite a while for all of the 112 people who've been here. I know some of you guys have been for several hours. I can't thank you guys enough. And also, I know someone was here early. I'm going to have to go through again. I told you comments on my section because you were with me for a good 2 hours or so. Some people be like, I know he's left, but some people be like, I'm going to give you a shout out in my next video because you've been here for such a long time, guys. I genuinely want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. This was my very first live stream. I will be doing a live stream tomorrow as well. If you guys want to follow me on IG, Twitter, IG is the Warrant Report. The Warrant is Warrant, and make sure to hit the subscribe button. That would be amazing, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will be ending it here. Take it easy, guys.